Hey, hello and welcome to the Video Game Dads Podcast. Welcome to episode 61.
Woo!
Yeah, wow, it feels like forever, right?
It has been forever.
Yeah, we apologize, but like always, we try our dangdest, and we're here for you now. Isn't that right, Adam?
We are. We're here for you, baby.
Yeah, and we will be joined soon by Michael, but Michael's not quite in yet, but he'll come in probably right after this.
He had parent-teacher conferences. He acts like his kids' education works.
Oh, I
more
know.
important than us.
Yeah, you could do that virtually, right? You could do that via text, right, Michael? He's not here to say no. I'll just imagine he's nodding his head. But anyway, we've got a lot to talk about, folks. Let's tell you who we are if you haven't heard of us before. We are three guys in a basement that talk gaming, fatherhood, and everything in between.
Mostly the in-between.
Mostly the in-between. We parade ourselves around like we're a video game podcast that randomly some people like and stick with us, even though we are essentially the stepdad that says we're going to show up to the baseball game and we're not there, right? You make it to third, you slide, you look through the stands, everybody's clapping. We weren't there for you. We're really sorry, but we're here for you for an episode now.
That's right.
Let's get back out of the darkness with that. What stinks is we have enough listeners. There's somebody who has that.
We're the parent that only shows up for Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to go get cigarettes for 4 months.
Yeah.
But it has been about 4 months since
If you're not first, you're last, Ricky.
Yeah. What? I said that? Oh, I must have been drunk. That doesn't even make sense. That's the funniest part at the end where he just basically blows up the scene.
You don't listen to these people, Ricky. They don't want to go fast.
Yeah. That's a good movie. I love that. Holds up.
It's so dumb.
I saw Old School again. Oh man.
Sorry.
Yeah,
first tangent of the podcast.
Yeah.
So I was telling Benjamin earlier, I spent a good chunk of my afternoon at the dentist getting my teeth whittled on. And at this dentist, I don't know if you've seen this before, but they have TVs above the bed, and they ask you if you want to watch Netflix. So they have it up on the monitor, and there's like 20 movies that are just kind of there in the suggestions or whatever. And one of them was Step Brothers. Oh. So I said, yeah, put it on Step Brothers. I said it's borderline inappropriate. This will be fun, you know. And so I'm watching Step Brothers, and
you got your own headphones, or
no? It's like you know, over the
weird.
speaker in the room, and there's not even like regular. So there's like 3 or 4 rooms next to each other, but it's mostly like big cubicles, like partitions between. But it's open air.
That's a new dentist thing.
Yeah, but it's open air up top, right?
Yep.
And I had forgotten. I mean, you kind of off the cuff select something, but then you don't think about all the content of said movie.
Oh yeah.
So the portion of the movie where he's exposing Dale's drums to his anatomy,
yes,
for instance, or what Dale and what's the other one's name? I'm forgetting.
Forget.
Will Ferrell's character, his wife's or his brother's wife. Whenever she's like, "Oh, Dale," you know, in the bathroom or whatever.
Yes.
So that was like playing over the speakers from my room. While I'm getting my teeth worked on, and I was like, "Oh man, I should have picked another movie. This is getting really uncomfortable."
You weren't the first one to pick Step Brothers.
No,
sure.
I'm sure I was not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of self-embarrassed because of picking it.
At least, like I said, they gave the options. If anything, I'm thinking like, why didn't they give you headphones? That I don't get, because that's what they do for the kiddos. Like I've seen those in the. I randomly took my son to the dentist this morning, almost like we did that on purpose, and he's got a TV up there too. But they've just got Paw Patrol, and they didn't give him any choices.
Yeah, no, I mean it was good. They got my teeth all cleaned up, and I was there forever. But I watched nearly the entire movie in the time that I was there.
That is a long time. Yeah. Yeah, well, you know, oral health, it's important.
Yes, it is.
What is that? That was like an old, gosh, there was, I could tell you about a little, man, sorry guys, it's been a while, so we don't know what to do. It's like lighting a match, right? You don't know if it's quick set fuel or if it's like slow and it's a dud. So I got this little thing called a TV, tiny TV at Walmart, and it plays scenes from each, like, there's like 6 of them. There's one that plays for like Simpsons, Family Guy, Friends, and they'll play clips of like 45 seconds on this tiny TV that's 3 inches big, and it's called Tiny TV Screens. I saw shout out to Cool Toy on YouTube. He's cool. He plays with toys. And it's awesome because not only it plays like 2-minute scenes, and then it goes through and you could change the channel. It goes, and I got the old Batman one because I thought it would look perfect in this little haunted house my son and I have. That's like this old whittled haunted house we've had in the family forever. To put a little TV in there, and there's this Batman scene where I guess it's pretty famous. Robin's going up the sideways, building where they're like sideways, struggling to pull up, and then he falls, and Batman throws his batarang, and it lands in Robin's teeth, and he pulls up to the top, and he pulls him up to the top. He's like, "Holy gosh, Batman, that was almost a tooth catastrophe or something." He said something silly like that. He's like, and then Batman, without skipping a beat, "It shows the importance of good oral hygiene." And then it just cut to the next scene. I'm like, that was actually an episode. I got to watch Batman again. So that was a long-winded way to say, check that thing out at Walmart. It's
so
awesome.
one of the new upgrades, or maybe downgrades in my house, is I got rid of my DirecTV, because here in Kansas City, at least, we've got like 40 channels, over the air.
Oh, yeah.
It's like basically basic cable.
Yeah, now that it's digital.
Over the air. Yeah, on digital. They need to bring back, I don't know if anybody remembers this from like back in the day. Like I had a buddy that had Game Gear that had, the TV tuner for his Game Gear, had the big antenna coming off of it.
I had that.
And TurboGrafx had one. The TurboGrafx, the handheld TurboGrafx had one, and then you could just buy standalone little TVs with the antenna.
Had that.
They need to bring those things back.
They're awesome, but
where are those?
Well, right, but because it's an analog
but why couldn't
antenna.
You? But why couldn't you put
right.
Why couldn't you put a digital antenna on?
Why
one of those
couldn't
things?
you? You're right, because technically it's still an
And
antenna.
it could be a little flat screen.
You're right. Why don't we even have that technology in our phones somehow, or like an adapter?
like why can't I watch over the air TV on my iPhone?
And you know what? Those old ones, even though
because
they
can't
work,
make you buy crap in the Apple Store. That's
I guess
why.
you're right. But the old ones don't work. I'm sorry. No, the old ones are expensive and they don't work. I looked up, when you look for nostalgia things, I looked up. I had one of those. It was a Casio.
Yeah, I had a Casio one too, way back in the day. It was like a box,
but it was
thing.
awesome. It looked like a Game Boy, and it would like scroll up the channels, and you would have to find it. But it was like color, and it was probably a terrible screen now. But at the time, I was impressed.
Oh yeah.
And you're right. Why don't we have those? I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, it's like
Maybe
technology I just remember I had one that was a CRT. It was a Casio CRT, and it was about the size of a cigar box.
Oh yeah,
and it had one screen on the end of it, and it actually had a magnifier that fit over the top of that. And I used to take it on camping trips, and I used to think I was a badass.
Yeah.
Being in a tent with this little TV, and it was black and white.
Yeah.
But but you could watch like the football game or whatever on your camping trip over the air. So I feel like we've devolved in that regard.
Yeah, you're right.
Because what happens when you don't have the interwebs? What happens after the apocalypse?
Right.
We need to be able to get over the air television on our phones or whatever.
I know. I highly agree. We'll look into it. Maybe there is something that.
Yes. If anyone knows of this device, please email us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us for episode 60. Where can you email us, Adam?
VideoGameDads@yahoo.com.
Yeah, and you can Facebook us at facebook.com/videogamedads. And everything else is kind of defunct, but you could try to find us in other places. Just put Video Game Dads in a search bar. And then rate us on the iTunes, because we like that. We don't have a Patreon because you know what? You would be burning our houses down for us not to create content for 4 months.
Yeah, we don't owe you nothing.
We don't owe you anything. You know what this is? The price of free, you freeloaders. We're doing our best. We love you. No, we seriously do. It kills us that 2020 and 2021 has literally killed us because we like interacting with you guys. We miss you guys.
Yeah, it's been bad from the work perspective.
It's been so bad. But we're hoping 2022 we're going to stay positive. We're going to put one foot in front of the other, and we hope your 2022 is better. Unless you're 2021 and you did Ethereum and Bitcoin and you're a millionaire on a yacht, why are you listening to this podcast? Oh, just to remember what the little people are doing now.
What's the one, the Dogecoin?
Doggy coin.
Doggy coin? Yeah, I should have gotten some doggy coin before all this started.
The ethereal or whatever. Someone told me about that tip.
I need to learn about these. I need to learn about these cryptocurrencies.
That guy created the crypto, and in November I got a tip on it, and I was like, oh, I don't know.
So I know a guy.
$60,000 or whatever.
Have I ever told you the story about Bitcoin?
You did, but you didn't say it on air, so I want you to tell it.
So I know a fella who I knew back when I was in school.
Yeah.
And he's kind of a techie guy.
Video games coming, people. Just wait.
And, so he created a website for a dude, like for his startup business or whatever. And so he spent like a few afternoons building this like basically makeshift website, kind of like on Wix or, GoDaddy or one of those things. So he builds just this simple business website, for them to be able to contact this guy for a small business. And he says, I really don't have any money because I'm trying to start this business up and everything else. But what I do have is this Bitcoin stuff. And so he paid him like 200 Bitcoin. And this was back when when one Bitcoin was like $1 or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And so he paid him with a couple hundred Bitcoin. And then the entire time I was, getting educated along with this guy, he was buying Bitcoin, and he was telling me, you need to buy Bitcoin. You need to buy Bitcoin. It's going to be huge. You need to buy Bitcoin. And I don't know how much more he bought, but it was a lot. And that is the biggest miss of my entire life, was not listening to him and buying Bitcoin back when he was telling me to buy Bitcoin.
I know, I hear you, and to know that, it's like $40,000. So if you're saying, okay, what's 200 times?
I bet he has several thousand.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that for a fact, but I'd be shocked.
Well, remember, it was Lily Allen turned down 6,000 Bitcoin to do a private concert, and she said no 5 years ago, and that would be the equivalent of, I think it was like, I looked it up, $32 million or 64 million. I'm not sure. But anyway, woulda, coulda, shoulda. We didn't, because it's also, the market is based on...
I don't want life to be too easy.
Yeah. And also it's based on speculation. It's based on psyche. The one thing about crypto is it is based on, you are betting on other people's psyche, not necessarily the market. So at the end of the day, I still feel like 5-10 years from now, the 500 for, what is it called? The main one that you always want to put your money in?
I don't know. Bitcoin's like the main one, but...
Yeah, now it is. But, still, S&P 500. Still, if you put in 1,000 now, when you retire, that'll be a good chunk of change.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what they say. I don't know. You're not coming to us for investment tips. We actually have to legally say, don't listen to our investment tips, because someone could sue us.
Consult your personal financial advisor.
Or some random person that's not us.
Because don't listen to Video Game Podcast for investment
we're dads.
advice.
We're going to take the safe route all dang day. Yeah. Which we will say this.
I'm investing in socks with sandals right now.
Yeah. We're investing in jokes that only our kind find funny.
That's right. Hey, here's a dad joke.
Okay.
What does a mermaid, how does a mermaid wash her tail?
All the time.
Tide.
Oh, that's good. I like that. I like it.
All right.
I know. I was thinking like low tide.
Moving on.
Okay. Getting too deep into it. So, guys, even though we've been away for you for quite some time, we have a ton to talk about. We're going to talk about conventions, ones we've been to. Sorry that we couldn't even do, because the last time we got together, we were planning on late July. We'll talk all about that. But also, we've got some cons coming up that we're going to be at very soon. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about conventions, our pickups, what we're doing with our collections, what's going on in gaming. Did you know there's a Mario movie? Did you know the guy from Parks and Rec is going to be Mario? Look at that and more. Yeah. We're also going to talk about this Polymega. It's also come out. Other games have also come out. There's Judge Dredd, Metroid style, has come out. There's so many things that have come out. We can't wait to talk about them. Oh, and then, of course, I failed to mention, we do not swear on this podcast. Yeah, so also no earmuffs. We promise there won't be any cussing, but doesn't promise we're not going to have some adult content, okay? Does that make sense, huh? Yeah, if you're old enough to be in the room, PG-13, that's us. But yeah, no swearing, no cussing. That's done us well. You guys have appreciated it. We're going to keep it up. God damn it. Fuck it. I'm going to bleep that. Okay, moving on. We have this old tried and true segment that we've been doing now for 10 years? 12?
I don't know, at least 15.
4.5. And we've had 120 games come through here, and we've got some good ones to talk about this time. It's time for our Video Game Book Club.
Our count eats a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
I like to eat the peanut butter first.
There's no wrong way to eat a Reese's.
All right, our Video Game Book Club. Yeah, brought to you by Reese's. Count Dracula edition. Yeah. We thank you so much. So Reese's reached out to us, and we're like, hey, we like your peanut butter and chocolate combo.
Reese himself.
Yeah.
Contacted us.
Reese. Yeah. There's apostrophe there for a reason. And he said, hey, why don't we, if you don't mind putting our spot on about this Dracula character.
Did a little collab.
That was the best one, guys. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I got the joke. Cause like, how do you eat this? And then he sucks it out, and then they do the reveal, which if you've never seen this commercial and you just listen to it, the last 5 seconds were like the biggest reveal since probably the end of Dallas, or the end of Mario 2, or the end of Game of Thrones. I don't know. What are other good endings or terrible endings
Lost.
for that? Lost. The end of Lost, right?
Sopranos.
Yeah, the smoke monster really just, you got sucked out with a air purifier. So we're getting to that season. It is Halloween time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And as far as candy goes, we were talking about this earlier. A Reese's pumpkin can really just, kick the crap out of a Reese's snowman, if you ask me. Don't you think?
So quick, what's your favorite Halloween candy?
Let Michael go first.
All right, Michael.
Yeah, I mean,
I've got to think about it.
I actually go with Reese's Peanut Butter Cups or perhaps Three Musketeers, which actually isn't a very popular one.
Oh,
Yeah, Three Musketeers. That's
But
good.
I'm a big fan. But if I see either of those two while trick-or-treating with my kid, I snag one for myself.
Yes. What's great too, and I know we've talked about this before because we've had enough like close to Halloween episodes we've talked about, but I don't remember any of our answers. So it's like fresh again. And if you just blitzed all our content, spoiler alert, you know the answers. I guess we already have.
Yeah.
We don't know, we already said. If you follow that. So what I love about having a child that's 4 right now, besides, the gift of raising a human, it's the fact that he likes chocolate, okay,
Yeah.
but you know what he really likes? Candy. He likes suckers.
Oh,
he
really?
likes
the
bottle caps.
the pure sugar
Yeah,
kinds.
he likes bottle caps, likes this and that. And like you give him, he likes a chocolate thing every once in a while. But if he's going to take a Snickers versus a Starburst, he's going to pick Starburst all day. And you know what? Great. I'll pick up your leftovers, kid, all day.
Yeah.
Oh, you want this? I'll trade you. I'll give him 2 Starbursts for like 3 Twix, and he thinks he made out with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Little does he know.
My
Yeah.
Grayson, whenever he trick or treats, or not even trick or treating, just like anytime he brings home treats from someplace, he always looks at me and he goes, "How high is the dad tax gonna be?"
Yeah.
he's like, "How much is the dad tax?"
Yeah. I
'Cause
just
he
slowly...
he already knows that he has to pay it.
Yeah, I'll just slowly take my kids' candy. And he
Yeah, I
won't
know.
notice.
I'll be like, you can pay the dad tax. I drove you around and walked with you all over the place. Just 10%. That's not bad.
No.
I'm excited to actually do it. So sorry, we'll get off to the. I'm a big fan of Reese's as well. I'll do a Milky Way. I know
Okay.
everybody's like the Snickers or whatever, but when I was a kid, I had braces, so I have bad memories. Right? You already got the caramel and that. So
Yeah.
Milky Way, I'm a big fan of. And I'll go with a 0 bar. I'm just kidding. I'm not an idiot. Who eats a 0 bar?
All the
again?
weird kids. Yeah,
I know.
That's who eats the 0
Hey, do you want
bars.
white chocolate that tastes like it was made 100 years
Except
ago?
it's not chocolate. right?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like whatever. The 0 bar is like whatever they probably have left over after they make chocolate.
It's like, nougat from like the original. It's like original recipe nougat. I don't want that. I want the latest.
It's
greatest.
the outer bark of the good nougat.
Yeah, if I'm gonna have something that's artificial, I want artificial of now time, not artificial of our grandparents' time, because they didn't know what to do back then. They
Right.
used horse hooves. Who knows? They threw that in there. Adam, what's your favorite?
I probably have 2.
Okay.
I'm a fan of the chocolate and peanut butter kind of thing too, but I kind of like peanuts rather than peanut butter. So
okay.
Goober.
I'm gonna go Baby Ruth.
Oh, Baby Ruth.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, Baby Ruth / Mr. Goodbar. They're basically kind of the same thing,
Yeah.
except
Yeah.
the ratio of chocolate to peanuts a little
like
bit
them.
different.
I like a Mr. Good Bar.
So yeah, I think those are my 2, and then just traditional peanut M&Ms.
Okay.
Oh
So
yeah,
simple.
Classic.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
peanut butter M&Ms. I could feel myself getting bigger when I eat them, but those are good too.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Those are all really good. My wife likes Raisinets, and that's great because I'll buy them for her, and I know I won't break into that.
Okay.
I'll do a
Yeah.
Whoppers every once in a while.
I like Whoppers.
Yeah, those are.
It's like
really
my
good.
grandparents. That was what they always had in stock at their house.
Right. Yeah, Whoppers. I think are kind of old school. That technology,
is.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
Old school
The
milk
malted milk balls.
technology.
I just introduced my son to those bottle caps, which you
I'm
remember.
actually a big fan of those. I bought
Yeah.
those recently, actually, but I really only prefer the
Cola.
the cola and the root beer.
Oh, you like the root beer?
Oh, the root beer is actually one of my favorites.
Do you guys
It's
ever
good.
do you guys ever have Sixlets? Those
Oh, yeah.
those like super poor M&Ms.
Yeah.
They're kind of like chocolate, but not
Yeah.
really.
You break
I don't
into
think
them and
so.
it's like drywall. It's just kind of poof. Yeah. Cichlets are. Here's the thing about Cichlets. They're in a package that is meant to choke you.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, do you want sixlets? Yeah, let's put them in a cylinder and make it so the only way you get them out is like pulling your teeth out like you're eating a banana or something. And I don't know why. One of those always goes down my throat.
As a kid, one of my favorites that's probably I find the most disgusting now is those Necco Wafers.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that candy? Like, it tastes like chalk now.
Not
like,
many people know about Necco Wafers because they were old. I mean, they were like the original candy.
Yeah, those were old-timey candies
It
when we
is.
were kids.
It
yeah.
is.
Yeah, I worked at a dime store, so we sold those. So I loved watching what people would. And the funny thing is, people do buy randomly. They'll buy a payday, and I'm like, what human buys a payday when you've got all these other options?
Circus peanuts.
Or what about those dots on paper?
I never ate those.
As a kid, I used to love those, and I used to eat so much paper off those things, like because they never came off clean, and you just get a little piece of paper on the bottom of it. I still loved them. I don't know, but now I find it just I don't even understand why I did that.
Yeah, they used to have Lifesaver gummies when those came out in the late '90s.
Yeah, those
that
were
was
big.
that was a revelation. It was like, oh, there's something besides gummy bears, and they taste better than gummy bears. Sorry, I know that's sacrilege or whatever, but yeah. Yeah, I always loved, the big ones were the families that gave out the full can of Coke.
Oh, yeah.
The full candy bar. And the whole, I'm just excited to actually go trick-or-treating.
Did you guys ever have anybody in your neighborhood that would give you, like, baby carrots or something like that?
No. I mean, we had the caramel apple lady.
It seems like everywhere I went when I was a kid, there was always, like, that one house that would be like, here's a celery stick, and you're like, what on earth?
I heard about those people. Just I didn't have any in my neighborhood, so I guess I was lucky.
Yeah, I never had that. I did say once we had an apple, but the lady gave it as, like, a choice, and it felt like she was judging us. It was an older, nice house.
Yeah.
It was a nice house, but she had this golden crisp apple, and then these not great candies. They were not the fun size Snickers. They were the quarter size ones that you see at maybe an office or something.
Yeah, there's nothing fun about those, by the way.
Yeah,
there's nothing fun at all. I should rename that.
Yeah.
There's marketing it.
Yeah, they're just exactly. This
Call
is
them baby candy bars or
this is
something.
Size of fun. Who says that, right?
Yeah.
It's up to every person to decide that for themselves. But these little quarter ones, so she had a whole golden apple, and she arranged them, right? She stacked them like she was one of those extra people at the grocery store where it's like you can't grab any of them without them falling. So she had all this out. She was like, do you want this or this? And it's like, I still chose the candy, and you could tell she was disappointed in my choice. And I'm like, whatever, lady. Okay. This is how you get your kicks.
Yeah, nowadays I would ask her how many people have chosen apple, and
yeah, exactly.
I'd be like, do people actually pick that? Or
I know. Well, hopefully, if she made good choices, she's still alive. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
She was older at the time. That was 30 years ago. Hopefully, she's listening to this podcast. That got dark. You guys got really positive.
I'm betting not.
Yeah,
I'm betting she's not our demographic.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. One thing that I got was non-traditional. I don't know if you guys ever got this. I would get every once in a while, they would give out a coupon for a free McDonald's sundae.
I had never got that, but I would have been totally down to get that.
Yeah, so I remember my friend, I was with two friends at the time, and they thought it was so lame. They almost threw it in the bush. And I'm like, what? So, that's the best thing.
That's a good deal.
I remember that. It was like McDonald's bucks or something. I can't remember.
It was in a coupon booklet, but you can literally buy, I think it was it was cheap. It was for $2, you can buy 5 things for a free sundae, right? It was back when people really didn't use coupons that much, so they were always like, oh yeah, this is just making cash. But now, I think now the internet has made people savvy on saving money and stuff like that. But I remember we got those, and it was the best thing because you know what? Your parents would never, imagine you asking your mom or something like, hey, drive me to McDonald's for a sundae. But as soon as you have that golden ticket, they can't say shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll have to cut. I bleeped it so you didn't hear. They can't say anything because you have the coupon.
Yeah.
They don't have to spend the money.
I've got a golden
What are they going to
ticket.
say no to? A 4-year-old handing you a piece of paper that's worth the equivalent of a sundae and say no? Yeah, that was the best. Man, I wish they still made those. I would totally do that. Full can of Coke. Anyway, what I was saying was I'm excited because now my son is 4. Last year, COVID, he didn't know the concept of trick-or-treating, so what I did was I had a handful of candy, and he kind of knew what Easter egg hunting was. So we just walked up and down the street, and I remember was older, judged us because they thought we were going to come up to their door, and they turned off their lights. I'm like, we're not really trick-or-treating. It's the middle of the pandemic. No one was doing it. But I have a 3-year-old who wants to go out on Halloween. So I like when he wasn't looking, I would toss a few in the grass, and then we'd pick them up, and then, I don't know. So
now he just thinks there's candy everywhere.
Yeah. So like I was like, oh, here's one. I was like, yeah. So I was like, well, he doesn't know the concept yet. He'll probably forget. So I'm excited to actually go trick or treating this time. So stoked about that.
That might even be more fun if everyone just hid candy in their yard and you just went around to different yards and to find candy.
Yeah. Yeah. Dog poop.
So,
Great idea.
So last year, we go over to Shane's house because they have a better neighborhood for trick or treating than I live on a dead end. But in any respect, went over to Shane's house, and so my kids wanted to dress up as the Robinsons, like the Pixar Disney family. So I was like the dad, and my wife was the wife, and then the kids are the kids, whatever their names are. But Shane's kids want to do the same thing, so they all dressed up as the Robinsons, or not the Robinsons. What's the other one? The Incredibles. Sorry, the orange outfit. Sorry, the Incredibles.
We were that 2 years ago.
And so we were the Incredibles. They were the Incredibles, and so we, in the course of trick or treating, we split up, and so me and Shane went together, and then my wife and Beth, Shane's wife, went together. And the kids split. And because everybody was dressed the same, everybody assumed that me and Shane were co-husbands with our kids, and they also assumed the same thing about our wives. So it ended up being a very different way to trick or treat. When we went around, I just kind of got a kick out of it, I guess. But I had more than one person actually make a comment on it to me while we were walking around.
So they were giving you candy, and they were like, "Good for you."
Yeah, I mean something like that, But I just thought, because it didn't dawn on me what was going.
Do you or your partner want any candy?
Yeah, it was stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then because we were walking around, so we just kind of went with it, Shane and I. So that's the way we.
Yeah, you held hands.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we do that normally, but yeah. So it was just a different way to trick or treat. It was just kind of funny, after the fact.
Yeah, well, you already know the plot now of Incredibles 3.
There you go.
Yeah, so but Halloween's a great time. Again, we thank our sponsors. I'm excited. I don't know. I'm excited to have him pick out his outfit and stuff like that.
Yeah, mine's already set.
Yep, same.
Yeah,
same
we've already
here.
got our family outfits. We're Harry Potter this year. I'm Haggard.
Yeah.
That's a good costume.
Yeah, I've never watched the movies, but apparently I'm the big guy with the beard.
Yeah, you're
Nice.
basically like a overweight hipster.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have my outfit, but it's not with the kids. They're Paw Patrol characters, so they're really into that right now. So.
What's your outfit?
I have multiple ones. I have I just have a stock of them that I.
You're like,
had
I just
over the
keep a
years.
wardrobe of costumes.
Yeah, I got a Ninja Turtles one. I've got.
You probably have a banana.
A banana?
Yeah,
no banana costume. I got a Chewbacca costume, one of those full outfits.
Okay.
I don't know. Just pick one. Nothing related to Paw Patrol, but
Awesome. I actually went today because I took my son to the dentist. I didn't feel like he didn't it was early in the morning. Getting him ice cream treat after that felt weird. So I was like, oh, let's go to Spirit Halloween, and so that was fun. Boy, Halloween costumes are weird now. We just went because it's fun because you can. It's like a cheap haunted house for kids because they have all those traps and stuff you can step on and things pop out. But some of their outfits nowadays were really weird. There was one called Pre-Millennial Girl, and it's basically the stuff I showed a picture of it to my wife. She's like, "That's the stuff I wore in the early 2000s," and it's it's 20 years old now, which was basically she had a spaghetti strings top and jeans with slight bell bottoms and a big belt. Basically what all our wives wore 20 years ago.
yeah.
And that's now a costume as if the 80s costume.
I know
to
when
kids.
we were younger.
Legit, it was called the pre-millennial costume.
Wow.
Pre-millennial woman girl costume. And it was basically, an outfit from Old Navy from 2001.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll have a costume where it's pre-millennial, and the person just won't have a cell phone in front of their face.
Oh yeah, yeah. We turned that into
true.
get off my lawn quick.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. There's tons of there's tons of Halloween costumes out there. Those cheap ones where you put on a hamburger and
And those are always my favorite, the hot dog,
Yeah.
the banana.
Yeah, it's
the old tried and true.
Yeah, it's trying enough. I'm probably still, until I don't fit it, I'm going to be Iron Man and he'll be Iron. He wanted to be a spider. That's kind of hard to do, but we found some costume where there's a spider on his back. So
Nice.
he'll go to daycare, and I'm sure we'll get lovely letters from the daycare people about that.
Freaking out kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's worth it.
Yeah. So anyway, happy Halloween to everybody.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this video game book club. Again, thank you to Reese's. So our video game book club is a segment where we play a game in between episodes, and you should have had enough time to play it in between this last episode. Am I right, people? I know, I'm sorry, too soon. And then we talk about it much like a book club on the following episode. We have patented this, even though there's been other, selective people that have a video game book club. We were the first. The only rules are it has to be from not the top 15% of whatever system we were on. And currently we were on the PS3. Mm-hmm. The dad pick, my pick, Asura's Wrath. Yeah. And our video game listener pick was Atari Karts for the Atari Jaguar. So those are perfect games for our video game book club. The only thing we ask is if you submit a video game book club pick from either our Twitter, Facebook, email. Emails are easiest, videogamedads@yahoo.com. Send us a video game book club pick, and you will get put in a randomizer, and we might pick you. We've been dwindling these down over 60. That means we've picked almost about 60 of your games, and we've gotten some real winners and some real stinkers in there too.
Yeah.
But
mostly winners.
Yeah. But anyway, so our video game book club, what would you like to start with? Atari Karts or Asura's Wrath?
I think we should do the dad pick first. Asura's Wrath.
Asura's Wrath for the PS3. Does that sound good, guys?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Adam, what do you got on Asura's Wrath?
So Asura's Wrath is as mentioned, a PS3 game. Let me pull up
it's
Wikipedia
almost
here.
a decade old, guys.
It was developed by CyberConnect 2 and published by Capcom. So there's Capcom logos all over it, even when you boot it up. And it runs on the Unreal Engine 3, and it was released in North America February 21st, 2012. It is a single-player beat-em-up with some extra elements.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, it's so it has some God of War. It's kind of like a hack and slash action game at times.
It's also a movie.
Yeah, but other times,
quick time type game.
Yeah, so kind of the short story on this one when it came out, people really liked it, but what people also said knocked it was at times you're pulled away from the controller for a long period of time in between these action segments. And so you then have to realize, well, what's the story of Asura's Wrath? I think it's not fair to put it in Metal Gear Solid territory where, to me, the cutscenes in Metal Gear Solid, there are people who love that game, and more power to you. I never was into it because I didn't have that much patience really with it. So I
actually like the cutscenes in Metal Gear more than the Metal Gear.
Oh yeah, okay, fair enough.
I never actually cared much for the game.
Yeah.
I like the cutscenes more than the game. I know that you're not supposed to say that, but
it's okay. Yeah. It's Metal Gear is not for everybody. I'm surprised, honestly, for it being so non-traditional. It's good that it has such a following. But the old school, like Metal Gear, like the legit PS3 one, Sons of the Patriots. I mean, that was a long time waiting. Asura's Wrath has a lot of that too. So there are times that you are watching about 20 minutes of cutscene with a little bit of QuickTime event in there. But the difference with this is, I think because it's got this anime style from someone who's not burned out on anime, because I don't watch a lot of anime, I really liked it. Yeah. I thought it wasn't as abrupt as some of the kind of old reviews that I remember back when this thing came out. I said, it's really cool. It's intense, but it's also short, and there's a lot of cutscenes that break up the flow. 6.5 out of 10 or whatever. That was in 2012. That was our view on it. But basically, in between scenes, you're about 20 minutes, and it would roll credits. The first time a cutscene came and went, and they rolled credits, which you could skip, by the way. But I would say don't do that. You're doing yourself a disservice. I thought the game was over. I thought maybe I skipped something, but obviously that wasn't the end. It gets mad. So Asura gets angrier through this whole thing, and you want to see it through, but it's not one note angry like a Kratos, would you say?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of this game is less Metal Gear Solid. It's kind of like if Kratos kind of had more reason to be upset. It's the same thing. Kratos, I think, his wife and daughter,
it's
in
righteous
story,
anger.
Yeah, it's because they messed up your family. This is all pretend, folks, but killed the wife and abducted the child, or in Kratos' case, I think both of them were killed.
Yeah.
And then he was just so angry, and Hades will pay for this, and I'm mad all the time. But Asura's Wrath, Asura's Wrath, he's going through just kind of like God of War, going through all the steps coming out of hell, going through the millennia of getting angry and angrier. But it feels like, I don't know, there's something about like...
a little bit more of a cinematic experience, I feel like.
Yeah, and there's something prolific around his rage and his wrath, I guess, a little bit more than Kratos. Even though I dig Kratos and I get it, and you want to beat some things up. Yeah, the older I get, I'm like, gosh, you're angry. You know, that's gonna make some cortisol go in you, Kratos. Right. That'll kill you. Yeah. That's gonna make you, you know.
Sit in this massage chair.
Yeah, it's gonna prematurely bald. It's not good for you. We know that stress kills. We're at that point. But with Asura, you're like, yeah. You get angry because I'm feeling pumped up. It gives you a little testosterone. And the way he beats up people is not with just the chains of Olympus. He just gets more and more fists, and they get bigger and bigger as this thing goes on. So I actually think the knock on it was something that was, to me, very different, unlike anything I've ever played before. And I liked it. And I liked that the combat was nuanced enough, not too super, complicated, but... Yeah, I'm getting into a lot of different sections, but you could tell I like this game.
I kind of like just the art style of it. There's something around Capcom, like a little bit before this and then after this time. And I think it kind of started with the Devil May Cry series. But I don't even really know how to describe it. But Capcom, these sort of PlayStation 3 era graphics, I never hear anybody else talk about them this way, but everything looks kind of shiny and like it's sort of wet. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sort of like they look like action figures, like molded plastic, kind
almost
of
painted, or when you go.
Yeah,
and
I don't know.
Yeah,
but the Capcom games in particular have a heavy dose of that, and especially the last couple of Devil May Cry games. It's if you like that art style, this is very much in the same sort of vein of art style, and of course the cinematics are very, very cinematic, overdone.
Super detailed.
Yeah, super detailed, interesting tricks,
a lot of yelling.
A lot of slow motion, kind of what you would expect to see. But I don't know, the game's pretty neat, and as far as the gameplay goes, it has like your standard beat 'em up, hack and slash, whatever you want to call it sort of stuff, but it also has like some shooter elements and it's got, like you said, quick timed events and there's enough variety that they kind of put into the fighting segments between these big cutscenes that I don't know, I think it stays fairly interesting, and there's not really anything else that's exactly like this. And again, especially the more recent Devil May Cry games, they kind of do this too. There's quite a bit of cutscene, there's quite a bit of story element to it, and so on. I actually like the character probably better than Devil May Cry, just because Dante, or like you were talking about Kratos, not so much the newest God of War, but like the older God of Wars, they're just a little bit bro dude-ish, Yeah,
especially Dante. Dante's a lot like those vampire shows.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and honestly, it's so bro dude-ish that it's almost a mockery of itself. Like it's I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean it's like self-aware.
Yeah.
So it plays it up.
Yeah.
Kind of like a good 90s action flick or something like that. But this is less of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And so combat, it's like a light attack, a heavy attack, and then a dodge. But what I appreciated was these boss fights weren't just, you can't cheese them. You actually have to, there's some strategy to it.
Yeah,
and I thought the boss fights were good too.
Yeah.
There's not a weak part to this game. And a lot of times like this, like when we did Dante's Inferno, it's this was a great idea. And this 3-hour game got turned into like, whatever, a 7-8 hour game with only 3 hours worth of ideas. This case, I mean, I guess you can argue that to a point, but this one follows so heavily on this anime style.
You can tell they came up with the story and then built the game into the story for this one versus the way these are usually done.
Right, and I believe this is. I mean, I don't know lore. I think this is actually a real old story that was adapted much like 12 times, kind of like that one with the Monkey King. Odyssey to the West. The one that's for PS3 where there's a guy, his name's Monkey, and he has a chain around him and he's attached to a girl. It's a 3D platformer that's really popular, and I know you have it on your shelf. And I get everybody listening is yelling it. Okay, so there's a lot of cool folklore, old Asian stories that like we're not privy to and we don't really know.
Like Okami,
Yeah.
Okami's sort of what I was thinking of, but
yeah. And so yeah. Legend of Kage. Actually, I don't know if that's a thing. Ninja Gaiden. I'm just letting name off all these things.
Shinobi.
Ninjas in it. Yeah. Yeah, Shinobi. It's so good. So it's not a very long game. That's another kind of knock on it.
Yeah, what is it, like 6-7 hours, something like that total?
Yeah, it's about 7. You can fly through it if you get through the cutscenes a lot quicker. But why would you do that?
I think that takes away from the whole experience.
Yeah, and you can also just watch the cutscenes because it just gets epic. And when it gets epic on epic, like, at the end, you're pushing a guy's like finger from the earth, and you're like fighting it back as a mortal. It just gets big. It gets kind of like Marvel big, but it still has that fun. Like fighting game element in a game that's not grounded, but doesn't take itself. I won't want to say it takes itself seriously, but it also just doesn't make fun of itself either. Some of the voice acting, it's kind of hit and miss. I think the male voice actors were a lot better. They do that thing that they normally do with female voice actors in these games, kind of more with the Eastern setting, where they make them sound all cutesy and womany and tiny and like, oh no, it's like, come on, like I don't know. Again, it depends on the region. I'm sure it's different. Let me skip real quick to the back of the box. Is that okay? We don't have to be done. Do it. But I like that this is one of the few games of this gen, because they used to do this in the 16-bit era where they put quotes on the back of the box. They don't usually do this until it's a re-release. So, Asura's Wrath. In 16 years of playing games, I've never seen anything like Asura's Wrath. IGN. Betrayed by the gods, banished for 12,000 years, his wife killed, his daughter kidnapped. In a truly unique blend of breathtaking action and story, Asura's Wrath takes you on a relentless quest for revenge against foes with unimaginable powers. That's just it. He just keeps going and going, and I love that. And as it goes on, the rage doesn't quit, but again, you don't get as tired of it. You want to see it through. Relentless action, near impossible challenges, a seamless blend of gameplay and story, a stunning mix of Asian mythology and sci-fi. And that's, of course, why I like it, because, of course, I like sci-fi over elf ears. You guys know that, longtime listeners. Ugh, I can't.
Me too. I'm not
those
big on
mortar. The mortar. Yeah, it's like, okay, you're in a cave. I don't know. Yeah, there's a language you made up that I don't know about. No, give me Space War. That's what I want. Anything else we want to say about this? Asura's Wrath.
I don't think so.
No, I thought the soundtrack was good. I thought the graphics looked good. We didn't even talk about the graphics, but this game holds up. This needs a freaking remaster.
Yeah,
especially for PS3.
Sequel
I think for 2 games, I think you put Asura's Wrath, and then you put another game I can't like even a DMC, like the previous DMC, or a DMC trilogy with this or something. I don't know. Put it on Arcade 1-Up. I don't know. I don't make stuff. I don't know what works. Just make this come out again so more people see it. It's a great game. It's kind of expensive, right? Did you?
Oh yeah. I do have the prices here. I was surprised by how expensive it's gotten, because that copy in your hand, I think I bought it for $10 or something a long time ago. But
it was a $10 game for a long time.
But yeah, so it looks like complete on price starting right now is $56.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It did peak earlier in the year. It got up to
like the release
70.
price.
Yeah, it looks like I got about 80 at one point.
Okay.
80, 84, 85. Yeah.
And I think that's probably about when we picked it. So it's gone down, which is good. We told price starting, hey guys.
Yeah, knock it off.
Yeah, knock it off. Okay, Asura's Wrath. What do you guys give it? Let's do Michael.
All right. I give it probably 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enjoyable enough, not your genre, but you recommend it.
I enjoy the cutscenes, but it was almost, I want to say not half the game, but a pretty solid chunk of it. But yeah, other than that, it was pretty simple gameplay. So I enjoyed it.
Cool. All right.
I'm gonna go 4.
4? Okay. Yeah, I'll go 4.5. Because the knocks on it, I don't think are knocks in this point of my life. Oh, it's not long? I don't have time. The longer it is, the closer I am to death. On that note, 4.25, 4.22, I guess, since you guys were both at 4, right? Did somebody do the math?
I don't know, whatever.
Dang it, we lost our accountant budget. We need to make more episodes. Our CV. So anyway, it's a great game, great title. Pick it up. And now, this game is like the Asura's Wrath for the Atari Jaguar. Tell us about our next game, Adam.
So our next game is Atari Karts.
Atari Karts.
For the mighty 64-bit. Do the math. Do the math. Have you done the math?
I did the math. It does not add up to 64.
So it's like 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 16.
Right.
Yep.
It's 64.
That's it.
Actually, there may be a couple eights in there. I'm not sure.
I think technically.
Carry the one.
Yeah, it's about 32 and a half.
Yeah.
Really.
It's like, wasn't the Neo Geo a 24-bit system for a time? They advertised it as a 24-bit.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just up to 16, guys.
Anywho, this was back when the bits were
very important.
Were very, very important.
It was a simpler time. And
it was a simpler time.
You had, to this day, we still have kart racing clones, and they're always trying to catch that Mario.
They are, yeah. Everybody's got their kart. You got Crash Team Racing on PlayStation. You got Little Big Planet Racing.
Oh, you've
The
got
Sega one.
But even the Sega. What is that one?
Something.
Oh, All Stars.
Something All
and you could
Stars.
go deep into it. You got
Those are actually really good games.
Looney Tunes Space Race, Chip and Dale's All Star Racing. That's a deep cut on Dreamcast. That's in my top 30 of Dreamcast. I like that game a lot. You got Mickey Speedway on Nintendo 64.
Yeah, Diddy Kong Racing on 64.
Yeah, you've got NASCAR Unleashed, which is quite the buried treasure. There's a lot out there. F1 Race Stars. There's a ton of there's a ton.
Yeah, so this is another kart racing game, and of course Atari had to have their own version
And the best box art. There.
and the best box art. And so this is an Atari published game developed by Miracle Designs and released on the Jaguar in December '95. In North America.
Jeez, I was thinking this is like a '92 game.
Yeah, no, it's a little later than that. Yeah, no, this would have been up against like PlayStation, Saturn.
Wow.
64. This would have been late.
I forget. The Jaguar was such a 1990 system feel, and I forget it came out in like '95, right?
I don't remember
94?
No, it would have been earlier than that because Super Nintendo was '91. So I'm
okay.
The Jaguar would have had to been around '93 or so.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, it was like contemporary with when 3DO came out.
The controller that looked like a space phone.
Well, why wouldn't you want a controller that has 87 buttons on it?
Well, we could talk about that too. Like,
ridiculous.
How about this? Like, hey, I got an idea. You got a controller. Let's make a kart racer. Okay, great. You just need gas and brake, right? Okay, where are you gonna put them? Let's put gas all the way over on the right side because we normally have gas on the apex to the left and the bottom, so let's put it on the right. And then what if you want to use your weapon? Where do you want to put that? Oh, you want to put that on the other side of the controller?
Yeah.
So then you got to lift your thumb to shoot
we all have
something?
three hands,
Which I guess would work, because if I'm driving my car, I would probably let go of the steering wheel to push a button.
Well, they were thinking James Bond. He's got the little dash that has all the drop the little things that pop the tires.
And I guess he lifts his foot every time he pushes that.
Yeah,
stuff.
but yeah. So Atari Karts, 95 for the Jaguar. It actually on Wikipedia it has 2 programs listed. Surely this wasn't made by just 2 guys, or maybe it was.
Back then,
Yeah,
I guess it could have been.
Maybe, I don't know. In any respect, I think maybe back up a little bit on it. It's kind of a typical kart racer. It basically looks sort of like the Mode 7-ish esque-ness of Super Nintendo.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad.
So if you think of the original Mario Kart on Super Nintendo, this is clearly geared at that or in that game's direction. Looks pretty similar. Plays fairly similar. You have a bunch of different characters. Looks like 11 playable characters here, and and that's basically it. I mean, it's kind of Mario Kart. It's Atari's version of Mario Kart. Probably the biggest issue with it being an Atari version of a Mario Kart game, though, is that it sort of has part of the what's the word am I looking for? Sort of the draw of having a Mario Kart is it's kind of like a Mario All-Stars, right? So you have all these familiar characters or have their own games who have their own franchises in and of themselves. So you put them into it is the same thing for like Smash Brothers or these other things, but it gets draw because people from all these who are fans of these different series are like, oh, well, I like Mario games, or oh, I like Kirby, or whatever. And so you put all these characters into the same game, and it draws people in. So the characters in this game are
a bear,
Scully, Pulpito, Ms. Trace, Bentley Bear,
Yeah.
Pumpkin, Miracle Man. You get my point. Like
Yep.
there's not a big market for Miracle Man.
Right.
So this I get the sense, I don't know how many copies this sold, but I get the sense it did not sell particularly well because it is crazy expensive. And I didn't realize
Super expensive.
I didn't realize how expensive this game was until we I looked it up for the pod. But yeah, a complete copy is about $450, and it goes for near 300 loose. Apparently,
Yeah, it's got to be one of the most expensive Atari Jaguar games out there.
Yeah, and I mean, it's got to be the most expensive, I would think. But Shane has a copy of it, and I've played it over his, house.
How was the
with him.
multiplayer? Because I only played single player. How was the multiplayer?
We didn't play a lot on the multiplayer. We kind of took turns playing it a couple of times, and from what I recall, when you get off track, if that makes sense, the multiplayer is not as robust as what the Super Nintendo's is. Number one, it just felt kind of a little bit more janky. But even in the single player races, when you get off track, it's like you can't get back going the way that.
Yeah, controls are a little rough in this game.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. The controls aren't that great, but you really get penalized for the bad controls, if that makes sense. Like they're very consequential.
Yeah.
Being off the road. The music and sound and everything's about like you would expect. The control's not as good as the Super Nintendo version. The problem is when you play a game like this, you can't help but think about Mario Kart and doing power slides and having all of the sort of things that go along with that. Because even
typical weapons too.
Kind of, yeah. And even the successful Mario Kart clones like Sonic or Sega All Stars Racing or whatever it's called, and Crash Team Racing and everything else, the thing that they did and the thing that makes those games really fun to play and very playable is they emulated what Mario Kart does, but they emulated the controls of Mario Kart really well.
Yeah.
Like
and
where
still had them feel unique.
Yeah, and this does feel unique, but it just doesn't control it just there's just a little bit extra that it doesn't have as far as control goes. And that's probably the biggest killer of the game is that particular bit. That being said, if you can take the taste of Mario Kart out of your mouth, to play it, and just look at it as a standalone game, it's not a terrible game. I mean, it's just average, I guess.
Yeah, one of the few things I thought was a little bit better was like the background graphics. They were a little bit more detailed and changed up a bit, like between the different courses.
Yeah. They weren't as kid-like, even though it's a kart racer. They seemed a little more mature, even though the characters definitely weren't. Like the colors, I like the colors and everything to it. Like some of the depth. It's hard to think that from the eyes and looking through the rose colors of the '90s, this would have looked good. But right now, it's just like all Atari games does not age well.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just the characters. I think you said it earlier. If I don't relate to a character, any of them, like Mario, we know who that is. Like many people aren't going to be Toad, and there's 20 versions of Toad. Mario Kart doesn't do things perfectly. I think Sonic does things a whole lot better, to be honest with you. But you got the staple of, hey, that's the bread and butter, the meat and potatoes of kart racers. This one, if you don't know any of the characters, it makes it pretty tough. But that being said, Wacky Races is a game that came out for the PlayStation and the superior version on the Sega Dreamcast. Those are based off Hanna-Barbera comic characters that most people, even ones our age, kind of don't know most of them.
Yeah.
And even though I didn't know most of those characters, I liked that game tons more than this game. So, characters, I guess, count for something. But I think that's just it. Maybe it's because the cars, too. They are in a kart. And in Wacky Races, I guess it's not called Wacky Kart Races. They were in different, vehicles, big, small. I think that would have helped if they would have had the graphical prowess to maybe make the vehicles different.
Or customizable.
Sure.
Just some little add-on thing that maybe Mario Kart didn't have.
And this, I think though, like weapons, they don't really hit as hard and aren't really as useful as they are in like the Mario Kart games and some of the other ones.
Yeah.
They're just a little more difficult to use, I would say too.
Yeah, I know. I think Mario Kart, you know how to just screw someone over by throwing that banana peel or whatever. It depends on which Mario Kart you're doing. But yeah, I was never a fan of the coins that you start picking up.
And I guess one of the things now that I'm thinking about it, I should have thought about this more last time I played it, is, sort of the Achilles heel of the Mario Kart franchise just overall is the rubber banding.
Oh, yeah.
With it. And I'm not sure that this rubber bands as badly as Mario Kart does. And that term, for those that are unfamiliar, Mario Kart really punishes you for being good. Yeah. It punishes you for being in first place. Mm-hmm. So it tries to keep every game competitive where anybody can potentially win a game. Yeah. And, so maybe this has that on Mario Kart.
Yeah, it gives you that virtual handicap.
The blue shell, that kind of thing in Mario Kart. I mean, how many times have you played Mario Kart with somebody and you're just, whipping them, and then you get just lightning bolted and blue shelled, on your last lap, and then it's over.
Yep. Yeah. So, I think if this was the only kart racer you had, or you had this system and you didn't have very many alternatives, I could see you playing this over and over and getting really good, getting the time trials down.
Sure. And, back in the olden days, when this came out, there weren't a bunch of other competing kart racers. We're still at least a couple of years before Mario Kart 64 is out. And, it's at least another year or two after that Diddy Kong Racing came out. Oh,
you had to say that one. I love that game.
So there's, so back at the time that this came out, if you have a Jaguar, you don't have a Super Nintendo, that kind of thing, this would have been a fun, serviceable game, in and of itself. And it's worth playing, especially if you have a Jaguar. But like I said, it's hard to recommend it to anybody when it costs $450.
That's true.
Yeah. So let's talk about back in Blockbuster when they would sell Atari games and we flipped this thing over. Yeah. Which did they ever do that?
I don't think so.
I don't know. The thing about Atari, even the Jaguar back when it was out, I don't know that I really have any good memories of actually seeing the Jaguar for sale places. I know what happened, but
Sears kind of. But for me, it was Software Etc. Also known
I
as
remember seeing them at Sears, but your typical places, your Walmarts, your Targets, that kind of stuff. I don't ever remember seeing.
Yeah, I don't remember at all.
There. I don't either. Yeah, the only place was Software Etc. in Ward Parkway Mall. I remember I saw it up there, and it was by the 3DO. It was away from Nintendo. It was where the adults hung, that had the Marlboros and stuff. So
it's right next to the cigarette machine.
Yeah, it's got that scary cat on the cover. Little did I know, we were missed out on the beautiful toilet known as the Atari Jaguar. Hey, the back of the box. Hey, this looks fun. I love it. I love Peach's castle in the background. Yeah, they definitely showed their inspiration. All right, back of the box. Out of my way. A go-kart free-for-all. In Atari karts, you'll race around the track with some of the craziest creatures around. That guy. What's his name? Face. I'm just kidding about that part. Yeah, that's all they say. The craziest creatures around. Watch out for the objects lying on the road. Some are bonuses that will help you get ahead, but those hazards can be nasty. They'll cause you to slow down or mess with your driving controls. Is this sentence written by an adult or a middle schooler? I'm going to read this again. They'll cause you to slow down or mess with your driving controls.
Yeah, if there's anything that makes you want to buy a game, it's that when the back of the box tells you that it's going to make it hard to control.
That's true.
Yeah.
Try to outdistance your competition and finish fourth or better to move on to the next course. Kids of all ages will love this game. Why is this kind of it's like if a Reese's on the back said, open the wrapper, open your mouth, put this in your mouth. This basically said, hey kids, get fourth or better.
Yeah, fourth.
That's what they're thinking. They're not thinking first. They're thinking consolation prize. And that's why Atari is out of business. I'm a little harsh. Thank you, listener, for suggesting this we try not to crap on some of these listener picks, but this one, it's not worth near $300. I don't know how else to say this. Don't buy this game. Right?
I mean, if you see it on, on
the ground for free.
Garage sale or something for like $50 or $100. Somebody wants to.
I don't know.
50% off. You're still getting.
I mean, if you see it on some emulation box or something like that, it's worth booting up and playing.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
But
controls will be better. Yeah. So baby bottles. What do you say, Michael?
I would go 3 out of 5.
Oh, okay.
I think. I mean, for at its time,
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, I think for at its time, for what it is. I mean, it is slightly a knockoff.
You're right.
Obviously,
there's nothing broken about it. Yeah.
No, I mean it works, but play Mario Kart.
Yeah, I'm gonna knock it
for 5x the price, 5x less the price.
Right,
you know?
I'll knock a point. Unmemorable characters, knock it for just playing catch up the whole time. Knock it again for some of the issues with the controls. I mean, that puts me down to a 2. I'm gonna say 2 baby bottles out of 5,
fair.
tied with one of my lowest scores I've had on here before. So, what about you, Adam?
I think I'm going to go a 2.5.
Okay,
I think it's what it should be, basically. And I mean, I could even go higher than that because, and I don't want to rip too much on the Jaguar because I actually have fondness for the Jaguar overall. I like the Jaguar overall just because of what it is, but it's not the strongest library.
Yeah.
And, in this particular genre of game, like this is basically what you have. And it is a serviceable, decent running game. So I think if you're interpreting it for the time and the associated library, you'd probably give it maybe even a 3.5 or a 4. But yeah, modern day, I'd probably, still give it about a 2.5. Again, just to say, it works. It's decent, but if you ever somehow find it for cheap, it'd be worth getting for cheap. But yeah, certainly not worth the money.
we didn't even talk about this. You brought up a great point, Adam. This is pretty close to being in the top 15% in the library, but we don't know about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not.
Yeah,
saying
there
almost
really
all
isn't.
Jaguars.
There really isn't a top 15% of the Jaguar. And honestly,
That's terrible.
So, and this is
true.
just to back up for a second and talk about the Jaguar, I guess. But my experience with the Jaguar back in the day is I got it a couple of years after it was discontinued, right? So I got a cheap one like on eBay for like $20 or something. Okay. This was back in the early days of eBay. And I got it in like 3 or 4 games, but the first game I ever booted up and tried to play was Cybermorph because I used to see Cybermorph in magazines. And I thought, oh, this looks like an advanced Star Fox. It looks really cool.
Right.
It's 360 degrees of freedom in Star Fox. Then you boot it up, and it is so unbelievably bad.
Yeah,
pretty bad.
It is. I mean, it is.
It feels like a weekend game. Like,
Even for the time it came out, it's just such a bad game.
It feels like
when I got my Jaguar about like 5 or 6 years ago, actually from the A game. Yeah, it cost me $100, but he threw in Bubsy in that game and made Bubsy look really good.
Oh yeah, I mean Cybermorph. It's almost more like a proof of concept kind of thing, like a tech demo, and then you have that face in the corner saying, "Where'd you learn how to drive?"
Yeah,
insulting you through the entire game, and it's just. I guess the problem with the Jaguar was Cybermorph was really the kind of the sort of pack-in game, it was sort of what they decided to make the flagship for the system, and it's there's something to be said for just having a flagship mascot, easy to pick up and play kind of game. Don't ever make Cybermorph your system seller.
Yeah, yeah.
But for the Jaguar, if you ever got past Cybermorph, it was all up. It was everything got better from Cybermorph, But the introduction for almost everybody that played it was Cybermorph.
Yeah.
But Doom for the Jaguar is actually really good. Alien versus Predator.
AVP, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
that controller is goofy though.
Tempest. Those are it is a goofy controller. But
it's hard for me to get past that.
But man, Cybermorph is just an abomination. And I don't trash on too many games. The Cybermorph is just bad. It's such a bad game. Anywho, moving on.
Yeah, so Atari Karts, one of the best games on the system, and we don't like it.
We think it's okay.
We think it's okay.
Okay to below average.
Yeah, I mean, we'll help it move if it calls, but we're not going to hang out with it. All right,
Fair
so our
we're not gonna return his phone calls.
No, yeah, unless it's really important or something. But okay, all right. So randomizer and okay. Well, look at this PS2 X-Men Legends 2 for the PS2 or Xbox. It looks like our guy or gal who suggested it. Let me see if it's still in here. Why
should be?
There it is by Ian. Ian, your pick has been in there quite some time. X-Men Legends: Rise of the Apocalypse for the PS2 or Xbox. Sounds like you were okay with us picking either or. Maybe it came out for the GameCube. I'm not sure. At least the first one did. But that is going to be our video game listener pick for next episode. Great. I've never played this one. I heard good things. You guys? Yeah?
Yeah, I think my brother really liked this game back in the day. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's one of those games I have on PS2 but haven't played, so it's nice that I'll be able to play it this time.
Well, wonderful. I don't own it, so now I have to deal with that. So thanks for rubbing it in my face. As always, Michael.
You can borrow my copy.
Oh, thanks. And, going to some cons, maybe we'll pick it up. I'll look for it. I kind of like that. I like having something to look for. All right. And our dad pick for next episode. What do you got, Adam?
Yeah, so we decided, because we've gone all the way to PS3, we're just going to pick something we want to play that we haven't played from our collections.
Yeah, we're having a midlife crisis, guys.
Yeah, so there's a game we'll talk more about the Polymega later, but I've been loading all of my 32-bit generation, well, I guess not just that, but all of my CD-based games up through the 30-bit generation into the Polymega. And in a pile of PlayStation games, I came across Project Overkill. Okay. It looks cool. It looks interesting. I've never played it. I remember reading about it in magazines and things when I was a kiddo. It's a Konami game, so there's a pretty good pedigree there.
Yeah.
And it's not really a game you hear a lot about, so that's the one I want to play.
All right. Wonderful. All right. Project Overkill for the PS1 and X-Men Legends 2 Rise of the Apocalypse for the PS2 or Xbox, whatever tickles your fancy, on the next episode. All right, guys. So, segments. We got to get through them here. All right, there's a few things we can talk about. News, recommendations. I think we should talk about these conventions we went to recently.
Let's do con stuff.
Yeah, so since we had an episode last, we've actually presented at a convention. The first time ever we weren't able to promote a convention before we were able to have an episode. So Mogamecon happened.
Yeah, it kind of short notice-ish, and we got tables and we went.
Yeah, we went. And boy, when we say we went hard. Adam, you had 4 tables.
I did have 4 tables.
I had 4 tables. And Shane had 4 tables. We had 12 tables between the 3 of us. And Michael, you decided to...
Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't make it.
Yeah. Well,
Party pooper, yeah.
No, it's okay. Good reason to. But it was a lot of fun. There's always next year. It was honestly great because we're 2 years removed. It was wonderful. We abided to the codes there, so everybody did. So everybody, masked up. So we were able to have this thing there. So we're happy the guys in the venue they picked allowed something like this. So I think it went off without a hitch, which is great. Yeah, but before, I think we've only split up 4 tables between all of us before. We've never had more than 4, and we basically had 3 times that amount because, guys, it's not the end of the video game dads, but it's the slimming of the video game dads. We are all slimming our collections a little bit. We realized we got to trim the fat a little bit, maybe use things for other games we might want or other ventures we might want. We all kind of decided all at the same time, much like a gang, much like a group of friends.
Friendly gang.
Well, it's like opportunity cost. I mean, the problem is the price of games has gone up so much.
Yeah, it's kind of an okay time to sell.
It's kind of gotten hard to buy new games without selling games, if that makes sense. So I mostly am focusing on trying to get rid of things that I've accumulated that I didn't really ever intend to collect to begin with.
Yeah.
Things that you got out of like lots.
Yeah, so you bought a lot of large collections. And
stuff
like
so I've bought other collections in the past, and so like I have a lot of PS2 games, and I never really intended to collect PS2. I'm not a PS2 guy.
Yeah.
I don't dislike PS2, but GameCube was my system of that generation.
Right.
So there's just things that would be probably better suited for other people's collections. I don't really have a lot. I like owning them, or to say that I have them, I guess. But they probably have better homes.
Yeah.
And and I honestly don't really have the space for them. So it's cons are a fun way to get rid of them and get them to the people they need to go to.
Yeah, and it doesn't take much. If you start going through your collections and you get rid of your doubles, we're lucky enough to be in a point where we can sell our doubles and make a con out of it in the past. And then we all decided, or we all have different goals here, but exactly that. You look through your collection. For me, my decision was, am I going to play this? Mm-hmm. Forget that. Like, if you do the math, if you have umpteen hundreds of games, up to thousands of games, you physically, unless we're able to develop new health technology in the next 30, 40 years and increase our life expectancy and everything. Of course, we'll be sitting in there playing on our CRTs, I'm assuming, You're not going to have time to play this. And something I've noticed with my son being 4, he's not. I kind of had these wishful thinking things like we're going to play through the entire Dreamcast collection that I have of all the games and stuff. And I don't think it's going to happen. I think it'll be fun to show him the games I really liked. And that'll be enough of a taste for him to understand it. And then, there's that GDMU that you can do that'll get you the whole library pretty cheaply now and easily. So you just start thinking, this would go into other collectors' hands. But let's talk about the con real quick before we talk just selling and things we picked up. Got to see people there again. Riggs, John Riggs was there. You could see in his video, he did a Mogamecon video. That was great.
The video game show guys.
The video game show guys were there again too, selling their stuff. Just got to see all the old, Adam Krolik was there again. So it was nice to go to that con again. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, and we all had, luckily, our tables close to one another. And I know, Adam, you did really well. I did really well. I sold more than double I've ever sold before in a con.
Nice.
I brought a lot of stuff. But I'd say the person made out the best, probably Shane.
Shane sold a lot of stuff. He brought a lot of good stuff, though.
He did.
I sold stuff I didn't think I was going to sell, though. I sold a lot of Atari stuff.
Okay.
Coleco, Atari.
Interesting.
Because I brought a couple of Pong consoles that I sold.
Nice.
Interesting.
So people were buying like
Different
old,
stuff.
real old different stuff, and I like having that stuff, but I don't. Again, I just don't have really space for it, and it's not stuff I ever really intended to collect that much of. Yeah. So, but I was able to offload a lot of that, and I actually had a lot more interest in the old stuff. Oh, I've got a bunch of Odyssey games, Magnavox Odyssey games. I sold a bunch of Odyssey games.
Yeah.
So those people are out there.
Were they were they older people or younger?
For the most part, I would say these guys are probably in their 50s or so.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it's cool because I got these and they're going off to people who are going to actually probably play them and appreciate them.
Right.
So I was happy to pass those along to other people and just getting to see everybody and Riggs had his own game that he made himself. And so I picked up his game and got it autographed by him and, just stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. And then just a lot of familiar faces I've seen from other conventions and stuff. It's really like a little community and you get to go, hang with some buds that you hadn't seen in a while.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so it was good. It was good to see everybody.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I sold some of my Saturn games that I never thought I'd sell. Like I had Lunacy and another one that was like a D26 Enemy Zero. Those are kind of high dollar Saturn games. I thought I'd never sell. And I looked through my collection. I'm never going to play these games. I only played the first few levels when I had them back in the day. It's cool to own them, but it's funny how I've looked at my collection differently now. I don't know if any of our listeners feel the same way, but it's kind of the big joke, the Maria Kondo way of your collection. I don't know if that's her first name, but she's the lady who always like looks through your home and says, I want you to hold this item and see if it sparks joy. And if it does, you keep it. But if it doesn't, you pass it on or you get rid of it, you throw it away. And I've been doing that with my collection. I have never been happier. I do have a venture where I do it would be nice to have some extra funds. And I always thought of the video games as a liquid asset. I thought if crap ever hits the fan, something happens, you've got these video games that are tangible things that aren't as important as your family and your life, so you can always sell them. And I always in the back of my mind thought there's a ripcord there if I ever need to. But what I kind of thought was like, it's kind of okay to do this. It's nice. It's kind of monkey off your back because I felt I had too many games. I feel like now I'm kind of, trimming the fat a little bit like Adam was saying. It's kind of nice. And Shane felt the same way too. And Shane, happened to have a nice vein of things he was selling that people were really loving. He had a lot of Genesis there. He also has kept some Genesis, but got rid of a lot. And him and his wife were just wheeling and dealing because a lot of people were coming up and wanting to sell his game. So it's tough though. like there's pros and cons to like pricing your stuff or going on price charting and anything. It takes so much time to do that. I think it's worth it. But the other thing is when they don't have to deal with the price, I think they're more willing to buy something if there is or isn't a price sometimes too. So, you know,
did you guys price your stuff beforehand, or
what I did is I looked up I priced everything into spreadsheets. And then rather than individually pricing every item, I just put the printouts from my spreadsheets on the table.
Okay.
And so people could just pick the game up, look at the price that I had listed, and then argue with me about it. If it's a lot easier than because I'm planning on keeping those games in totes for the next con, and it's a lot easier to update a spreadsheet than it is to remove stickers and put
I was
stickers
going
on
to say
everything.
that because I had a garage sale like a couple years ago that I had, and I put stickers on, but then I was going back like this last year, and those stickers are like way less than what they are
I always
like
get
that. So I had that issue because somebody was like, "Hey, I'll take this for $2," and I was just like, "Oh no, that's like a $15 game."
Yeah,
I
I always tick a few people off because I've never put my own price stickers on any of these things, and I always leave price stickers on my games. I'm one of the dirty collectors that just leave all the Blockbuster stickers.
I like to do that too.
I leave the original retail stickers. I leave the resale stickers. I pretty much leave. Sometimes I'll take the vintage stock stickers off because they're so freaking ugly.
Oh yeah.
But I mostly leave all the stickers on my games, and so you'll have people pull out a $50 game and be like, "Oh, I'll buy this for $4," and it's like, it's just the original sticker, you know. Because some collectors like those stickers on them. I do personally. So I leave them on there, but there's always like a handful of people at every con that get mad at me, you know, when they pull out a $100 game and it's got a $3 sticker on it,
right?
And then they want to pay $3 for it.
America.
But I think. I think most people are understanding of that, and the funny thing about it too is like, I try to give people a pretty good deal, especially if I can tell that they're really into whatever it is. I try not to give so good a deal that it's obviously just going to get resold. I'm not going to sell you a $100 game for $40.
Right.
You know. But if I can tell you, you actually really want to play it and you're a PS1 collector and it's a $100 game and that kind of stuff, I'll sell it to you for $70, something like that.
Yeah.
Just get, I think that's a good deal for both of us. And the problem isn't that I don't want to give a good deal. It's that, I still want to buy things myself and I still have to pay the inflated prices just like everybody else does on the other end. So I can't, you can't give too good of a deal to folks generally, but
and you're also paying for your travel and the table, and that's the big thing too.
Yeah, and your time and all the rest of it, and you are there to kind of hang out, but it is it does take a significant amount of time to be able to do, and between the pricing of everything and all the rest of it, but it's fun, it's part of the hobby, But I had a really good time, and one of these days I'm going to show up with a lot of really good high-end stuff. I brought a few high-endish things to this one, but I think the most expensive game I sold probably was I'm blanking on it, Elemental Gearbolt for PS1. I sold a copy of that, and I sold a copy of Tomba for PS1. But those are probably the two most expensive individual games I sold. But I sold a lot of like $5, $10, games, $2 games, $3 games. I mean, a lot of my Atari games I sold for a couple bucks a piece,
Yeah.
So there was a lot of just, cheap stuff. There was a few expensive things, but, and then I brought some signs and some various, display type stuff. But it, like I said, it was fun. It's fun just talking with people about it. So.
Yeah. Selling is funny because I have some collector editions. I also brought like PS3 imports. The funny thing is probably 3-4 years ago up to 5, PS Vita was always a hot ticket item. And I feel Genesis now, just for people who maybe will be going to a con or bringing trade bait, you might find this interesting. Like Vita is harder to sell now. I think all the people that wanted Vita, it's fine because my prices were good, and it used to be like you didn't even need good prices. People would snatch up Vita, and I've had a couple kind of local swaps I've went to, at A Game, and then now so I've been three different things this year.
It is weird. People are buying PSP though. I sold a fair amount of PSP games, and you think PSP would be kind of not something easy to sell, but I've sold a lot of PSP.
Have you? It might be your titles that are better than mine because I don't have any RPGs or any. Maybe it's not. And I thought they're all priced well, or maybe people always want PSP for cheaper. But it's funny. PSP and Vita, I had trouble selling. GameCube people wanted, and
I had a lot of people
GameCube's
asking, "Where's your?" They go, "Where's your GameCube stuff? Where's your game?" I'm like, It's all at home because I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to vintage, like a local store, Vintage Stock, and they had 3 GameCube games total on their
crazy.
shelf. They probably had like 200 Wii games or whatever, and everything else like 200 or 300, but they had 3 GameCube games.
That's funny.
I couldn't
Wow.
believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny because I mean, there's some good games on Wii.
But the funny thing was, like back in because I was a GameCube guy back in the day, you felt like a pariah. You felt like the
Yeah.
only.
I
When
was
you
in
were the
co- I was
GameCube
in
guy, you were like the
college.
only game. It was like you and 2 of your
Yeah.
friends.
I was in
and
college.
then
And
everybody
it was
else
like
was.
it was like the kid system when I was in
Well,
college.
that's what I mean. I played it
Yeah.
in college. Me and a couple of guys I was in college with, we played like Smash Brothers and GameCube stuff almost exclusively in PC. And everybody else, like in our dorm, everybody
PS2.
else was PS2 and Xbox. I mean,
Yeah, Dreamcast was big.
yeah, but but it's funny now that it's so popular because it doesn't feel like it was popular back in the olden days.
Yeah. Dreamcast is big right now. It was, but yeah, it was a ton of fun. I brought a lot of big collector's editions, and those did okay. I sold a Street Fighter 4, the huge box edition.
Okay.
Yeah, I contemplated maybe buying that for you, but I don't know
did
anything that big. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad.
I thought about it.
I would have been happy if you did because I actually went down on my price a little bit. And it's funny because there's some other guys who have been there and sold a lot at cons. And big box stuff, I would say if you're traveling, unless it's in your town, I don't know. It's cool because it brings people to the table. But those things don't really sell. I had a bunch of like PS4, like the ones that have a remote control car in it. I've got this one that has a remote control airplane in it.
Huh.
It's the Splinter Cell Paladin edition, and it's a literal RC airplane.
Yeah, I brought the Borderlands. What is it even called? The Handsome Collection, the Gentleman
Yeah.
Claptrap edition.
Yeah.
And it's enormous.
Yep.
And it sat there for the whole thing. I had a couple of people ask me about it, but
Might have to wait a few
nobody
years
picked it
on
up.
that. Some of those PS3 and PS4.
Yeah,
I
I
think
guess.
you were kind of in that lull for that.
It's
those
got the
games.
coolest remote control thing that they ever released, I think, in a collector set in that, though.
Yeah.
It's got a remote control claptrap inside of it.
That's
but,
what I was gonna say. I think I bet in a few years, I bet
Yeah, maybe.
that'll heat up a little bit.
But yeah, so I hated lugging that thing back to the house. But I sold a Morrowind Elder Scrolls 5 or whatever PS4 box set. So I was able to sell one of those, but
Oh yeah, that's real good. Yeah.
no, I mean, like I said, had fun. But you and Shane are planning on going to another con here soon, aren't you?
Yes, we sure are. Oh, real quick, pickups from the con.
Oh, yeah,
I was
yeah,
looking for my
pickups,
picture.
yeah.
So because people, you always say you like this, and I feel like we're showing off virtual things by our words, but you like to hear what us dads picked up at the con. Did not pick up very much, maybe a dozen things. The biggest thing I picked up, I was not expecting in doing this. The Lego NES TV, retro TV and console.
Which is awesome.
Big
Oh yeah,
Lego
you sent a
big
picture.
box.
That is cool.
So I picked it up, not because I intended to, because my son is too young to play this. I've got another probably, 4 years until we could put this thing together. And it's got and I want to trim the fat, and this box is big, but I got it for $160, which again, now that I'm saying it into a microphone, that's a
Sounds
lot of money. But I think
You sold a lot too.
Well, it retails for $230, and it still kind of almost sells for that. So I felt like it's one of those, oh gosh, I
No,
want it.
that's a
And if
good deal on it.
And if I change my mind, I could resell it. Well, people in the con loved it to the point where next time I sell it, I'm just going to put it behind, because I had probably 20 people ask me about it. And I'm of that generation. Again, I'm a Midwesterner. I'm not going to buy something in a con and resell it. On an aside, I also picked up the Lego question mark box that just came out. That's got the Mario 64 castle that opens up. Real quick, even though I'm just talking about pickups. That's amazing, guys. I've never put together Lego. Lego it wasn't after my time. It's just I was not a Lego kid growing up. And I also think
They're awesome.
Lego is awesome, and these things are awesome. So it's another 150, 60 bucks. It's a question mark, but it's Super Mario 64, and it's got a secret trap door where it flips up, and you've got Peach's Castle, you've got the Frozen Land, I forget, in the paintings, and then you've got the Chomp World. Oh gosh, I forget. But you got to look this up if you haven't seen it. I randomly saw it on Twitter. I got it. It arrived 2 weeks ago, and I've never put together anything intricate like this before. It is so much fun. I've spent 2 little marathon nights. I'm only about 60% of the way through. It is really therapeutic to put this thing together.
Yeah, they're cool.
I know. I'm one of those things where I'm stating the obvious. Like, it's easier to drive a place than walk it. I know it sounds, but if you've never thought about getting one of these advanced Lego sets, and maybe you're not easily frustrated, for me it makes sense because I can think in 3D space. I could see how people would have trouble with it, but I think actually the instructions are really intuitive.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, and the way they set the bags up, they separate the bags in sections, so you make it in like. In this one, I don't know. I think the NES one's got an extra 500 or 600 pieces, but you make it in about 12 different sections.
Okay.
And it's got secrets in it. I don't want to give it away, but I will. There's a hidden Bowser and a boss fight where you pull up a secret tab, and it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, when you put together because Grace and I
So
put together
cool.
the TV and the NES, it's like the coolest thing.
Oh, it was so
Yeah,
cool.
it's so
I get
cool.
it. I thought like making it was like, oh, I want to pay somebody to put it together. No.
No, that's the
fun
fun part.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I was. It felt like like you get a massage. Like it did my brain good. It it was like calming, even though it wasn't technically worked up. Anyway, highly recommend it. That was fun. Sorry, I'm talking about pickups. I picked up the Outer Wilds on PS4. There was a seller there. Shoot, I should shout them out. They came from Georgia, Alabama. Did you see them? So they showed up to
That's a cool game though.
They showed up, they showed up to Mogamecon, and since they were limited run games distributors, they legally, I guess, per contract, can only sell their limited run games at cost. So they brought a bunch of collector editions there.
That's cool.
And that's why you go to cons, because now if they got it used, they can sell it for a markup, but any new game, so...
I actually did see them. I fought the urge to go to their table.
Oh,
yeah.
I
don't need any more of those.
You did the right thing, but also they had great deals. So Outer Wilds on PS4 I missed out on. It's a great game. I'm not going to spoil it. I won't. Anyway, it's basically an adventure game set in sci-fi that's got a hook on it that won a lot of Game of the Year things. Unfortunately, I missed the limited run, and the game is expensive. It's like $80.
Yeah, I've got the regular version. I mean, that's why I didn't go over there, is because I pretty much have all those, but just the regular version.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah, and this one, they had the regular version selling for more, but they had the special collector's edition selling for less than the regular version does secondhand, and it's brand new. So I thought, like, I'm going to buy it and then sell the collector edition stuff on eBay for $30 and then make it so I got it real cheap. So I picked that up. That was $60. That was the second most expensive thing I got, but to me worth it. Oh, I got the Sega Astro Mini controller. Shout out to Rich. Rich sold this at cost. It's the little controller that I missed out on for $30. I got the Game of Life on PlayStation because I thought I didn't have it. Turns out I did. So probably sell that at a con. Look at me next con to sell a game I accidentally got as a double. And then Riggs Table, I picked up this little retro handheld. It's called the Amberbrick R350. It's one of those little handhelds that emulates things. I haven't really picked one of these up yet, but boy, it's great. It has MAME, arcade, Neo Geo, Game Boy, NES, all built in.
Cool.
I played Dusty Diamond's All-Star Softball when I got home, and it just plays perfectly. It's wonderful. So check that out. I also got from Riggs Super Mario Land for SNES. It's kind of like a main build of that. Cotton Reboot for the Switch. That was a great price. The legendary Starfy for the DS. Lethal Enforcers for the Genesis. Nice. College Slam for the Genesis.
You got the gun?
I have the gun already.
Nice. Okay.
And so Lethal Enforcers 2 is the Western take on it. So I've got the first one, and I never got the second one. So that was kind of my only game I picked up that I was like looking for. And then I also picked up a Famicom Mini version of Super Mario Land Super Mario Brothers for the Game Boy Advance, because it comes in this really cool packaging. Got some good prices on those. Those were all like $10-15. And those were my pickups from the con. Adam, did you have anything?
I did really good because I told myself I wasn't really going to buy anything while I was there.
That's smart.
So I only bought a handful of things.
About 10 things.
I bought John Riggs' game, which is also believe it's called BWiz, if I'm not mistaken, but it's on Megacat Studios website. And so I bought it from John and had John. It was funny because I said, "Hey John, can you sign the cover of your game for me?"
What system is it?
NES.
Oh, okay.
And so he made this game himself. This is like his first game that he's made. So so anytime I'm at a con and somebody has made an NES game and is selling their NES game that they made, I always buy it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So so I asked John to sign his game. He goes, "Well, I don't want to devalue it or mess up the cover." And I'm like, "Dude, it's your game. Just sign it, So I had him sign his game. It's sort of funny though, because like the Metal Jesus crew, John will bring these homebrew / hack kind of games. Each of the people in those YouTube videos has their own video game.
Reggie's got one, yeah.
And so at all the cons, I've got everybody's video game with their autograph on it.
That's good.
So that's one of the things I've collected just at cons, over the last few years.
Sure.
So I think that's kind of cool. But so I needed John's game autographed by him just to keep that alive.
Complete your subset that no one else probably has.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those little interesting subsets in my collection that I kind of know about, but not everybody else would. So I got that from him, and that's probably my favorite single thing I got at the con, just because it is part of that. Shane, I ran by his table when he first showed up, when he was unpacking everything, and said, "I need this, and that." And so I took all of his box Jaguar games. So since we were talking about Jaguar earlier, and it's like Zoop and
Yeah,
the good ones.
Yeah, I mean it's Jaguar, but I think Alien vs Predator was in there too. But in any respect, I got all of his box Jaguar games just because I like anything with a box, just because they display nice and they look cool. So I got those. I got Parasol Stars from him for the TurboGrafx.
Nice.
Or PC Engine rather, and I also got a game called Download, which is a shooter for PC Engine.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one Bithead likes a lot. I'm not a huge fan. I played it before, but I'm in a quest to get every shooter there is. So I got that, and that's really about it. That's all I got at the whole con.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that is pretty good. Can't speak for Shane there, but he picked up a few things like right at the end too, and you get good deals. You were saying this earlier. I didn't comment on it. I agree. You've got to price your things great, but you can't price them too great because flippers and resellers.
Oh yeah, I have sold things at cons. I've had people come up to me and be like, "Oh, I really want to play this game, and it's a game I've really been looking for a really long time, and oh, if I could just afford it, kind of thing." And then it'd be like an $80 game or something like that. So you sold it to him for like $30 or $40, and then you walk by a table later on and you see it for sale on the table for basically full price.
Yeah.
I've had that happen more than once.
If you accidentally sell a $30 game for $5 or $10, or if you do it on purpose, I've done that too. I know all of us have done that. When you see a little kid come up and they have their little coin purse out.
Heck, my gosh. I always give away a few games at these too. Yeah, especially to the small kids.
And then they get so happy about it. But if some guy comes up who's my age and he's trying to get a $30 game for $15, and I'm just thinking in my head, okay, it's 20% off price starting. I bought this table. I drove all the way here. It's right in front of you. I do it. I'm not a garage sale. And you're haggling me to probably flip it. No, and I give bro deals or discount deals to people who I recognize from previous cons. Yeah,
like people who I've met and I know and I recognize or have bought from me from years previous. That kind of stuff.
But we're not going to ignore the fact that video games have gone up.
Yeah,
that's what.
That's what I mean. I can't. Like I said, I'm primarily selling to finance my bad habits. Of buying new games, and if I want to continue to buy Saturn shooters, I got to have money. They've gotten really expensive, just like everything else has. So
I remember the first time we went to a con. Like I think we both sometimes got a little sticker shock because we'd think like, oh, things are going to be cheaper here, and sometimes people would have it for same price as eBay or above. Above, I think, is asking
sometimes the high end games, especially, will be priced higher than the going rate.
Yeah,
significantly.
Yeah,
because people like to have the eye candy to draw people in. Like, oh look, I've got a big box Earthbound, and it's $10,000.
Yeah, and then they don't really want to sell it.
Yeah, they don't really want to sell it.
Yeah. Also, it's the people. Some people will price it right at, but they'll haggle down because I feel like there's a certain percentage of people, like maybe a third, that will just pay whatever the price is, but then mostly of the time 2/3 people are going to haggle or try to get a little bit lower.
And I'd say go for it.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah,
that's
and I don't begrudge
fine.
anybody for trying to haggle with me. But I had one guy in particular ask me what a couple of games were, and they were a couple of the more expensive games on my table. And one of them was $80 and one of them was $90. And so I said, well, I've got that one listed at 80 and that at 90. And I was going to, offer him a deal on both of them. And he goes, well, I want a deal. And I said, well, okay. I'm just telling you what the asking price, like he wouldn't even let me get that out of my mouth. And he basically took my games and like threw them down on the table at me.
Oh, really?
And I'm just like, dude.
Yeah, if you would have waited 5 seconds.
Yeah, if you would have waited 5 seconds and not been a jerk, I would have taken some money off of that. I'm just showing you what's on my price sheet. That's all.
Even if I'll pay the price every single time, I will ask for a lower price. Because if you
I always ask for a lower price.
If you never ask, you're never going to get. And it's like, it's just, it can't hurt.
Well, the thing is,
especially on a used item.
It feels very unnatural for people to haggle,
Yeah.
And honestly, a few years ago, it did for me too.
Yeah.
But after you do it for a while, it's just kind
I
of
have no problem with
it's just
it.
kind of a thing. Now, if I know something's already a really good deal and that kind of stuff, I'm not going to haggle a lot. But I pretty much always haggle.
Oh yeah, that was cute. I like that. Our first, did we have like one table?
Yeah, I wasn't even with you guys.
Yeah,
I think you had 2 tables.
Yeah, we had 2,
I wasn't
I think.
even in the
That's
podcast.
crazy.
I just met up with you and
Just
sold
think about
on your
that.
table.
Now, just looking back at that 2 table between the 3 of us was like nothing.
It was 4 of us actually.
That's back when I was, still in the big time accumulation phase.
Yeah.
true.
No,
That's
you bought
true.
a lot. You bought like a quilt. You bought a ton of stuff.
I did, yeah. I bought a quilt at that con.
Yeah, you were in buying mode. I bought stuff too. I
bought a Mario quilt, for my kid.
Yeah, and I think it was funny. I look back, I don't know how much I made, but maybe like $200-$300, and I was like, "Whoa, that's cool."
It's funny though. When I go to cons, I oftentimes won't even come back with games. I come back with things like quilts or I buy books at cons.
Yeah.
I always buy a book. It seems like.
I just told you I'm looking for those NES VHSs or the 64.
I'll buy things like Laserdisc. So oftentimes not even the games.
Yeah, and I trade a lot too. That's something I've done too.
Yeah, and I accepted several trades at Mogamecon
Yeah.
too. Some of those I got were in trade,
Yeah.
and I just do $1 for $1 because I'm not
I
really
do that too.
I'm not really a reseller, and people are shocked.
You're right. Yeah,
They'll be
same
like,
here.
"Are you interested in any of this?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, I'll do that." And then they'll be, "But what do you get?" And it's like, "Well, price charting or whatever." I'm like, "What do you want to use?
even.
eBay or price charting or whatever?" So we'll look it up and I'll give them a price. I'm like, all right, that's how much credit you have.
Yeah. And they're really happy.
Yeah. And they're like, what?
I know. I think, and it would make more sense.
This isn't GameStop.
Yeah. It would make more sense if you're at like 80%, but I didn't even think about that afterward. I was like, oh, you're buying this really weird, obscure PS4 game that not many people are going to want, and you're giving me like Mario Party something on Wii. I mean, that thing's just going to fly off my shelf as soon as and that's what would happen. I take things that are common and give it 1 for 1 and just know, well, I technically sold you that. I'm going to be able to sell that one right back.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in a few years, but it did used to be, though, that like 75% of the people selling were like businesses. I would say.
Yeah, I mean,
had stores and stuff like that. Maybe half.
I don't think
least,
that the store owners probably don't like us much. Would be my guess, but
that makes sense. Yeah. But there's some people that are cheaper. There's some people who are really just looking to unload, and they're really, let's say, hardcore garage sale people.
Yeah,
they sell a lot. They sell their games for really cheap sometimes. Sometimes they're at 50% of price charting. Which makes them really cheap, and they sell a lot, I guess. But that's also what works for them. So it's kind of, you're going to have all kinds of tables out there.
Yeah, I remember at the first Mogamecon, I think I put a sign up that said below eBay, like 10% below eBay, 20% below eBay, and one of the store owners was like, "That's not smart to do that." And I was like, "Well, I mean, I want to sell stuff,
I bet I know which store owner did.
I don't even remember, but like
it
was just funny.
It's
it brought people over to the table. They know it's cheaper than what they can pay online. So.
Again, not trying to throw shade, but it is funny how like you'll see people not sell anything at all.
Yeah,
and then you're like, well, if you're not selling anything at all, and there was one table I remember I saw, and I was like, oh, this is a cool box. I used to have this box. How much is this box? $175. Okay. Nothing sold from that table that I saw. Hardly anything. So, moving on from a great Mogamecon. That was wonderful. Great to see everybody. Sorry if we didn't mention everybody else that we did or didn't see. Got a couple other cons moving up. So just wanted to announce Shane and I are going to be at Retropalooza as vendors in Arlington, Texas on the 20-ish, whatever this is.
It's the Palooza for older things.
Yeah, Retropalooza. They've got a couple of these, one in Houston, one in Arlington, and so we're going to be there as vendors. So if you're in Texas or in the area, come say hi to us. You'll see us. We got 4 tables. Tables there are pretty expensive, but you got to pay to play. They're 2 days, so it's Saturday and Sunday.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Everything's bigger in Texas. I've told you before. I've never seen a state where when you're already in the state, there's still billboards for that state. I was, no joke, 50 miles in Texas, and there was a billboard that said, everything's bigger in Texas. And I'm like, we're already in this state. This state is, what's up with this state? It's
like they need to know it.
I love it. I like it, man. Texas is cool. But anyway, Arlington, Texas. I've never been. Shane and I are going to continue, selling stuff. So look out for that. I'm going to bring, it might surprise some people. I might bring a good chunk of my Dreamcast collection. Ooh. So gonna have some Dreamcast stuff there. I'm
stop by if you're in.
Yeah, stop by if you're interested. And not just that, but that'll be one thing I have. We'll have some Video Game Dad's hats, so you'll be able to recognize us, even though I never seen it. But Shane and I will be there. I know it'll be fun. There's gonna be a lot of guests there, I guess, too. I can't think of them offhand, but you can look up on the website.
So that's like in 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, it's coming up pretty quickly. So hopefully but I'm going to put out this pod ahead of time so you'll get some warning. So come out to Retropalooza and how about this? I'll do this not for Shane's side, but for my tables. The first 2 people that come up and say your favorite segment from Video Game Dads, you heard it here. That way I know you're listening. Name your favorite segment. That could be video game waterboarding, the segment that we never even created, but we had a great name for. You could do handheld holla. You could do the video game book club.
Commercials.
You could do now a word from our sponsor. Whatever your favorite segment is from the Video Game Dads, the first 2 people that come up and yell on the top of your lungs your favorite segment will get $15. I love doing it. People don't like doing it, but that's what you got to do.
$15 in credit, right?
Pay to play. No, I'm just going to give you $15.
$15.
I don't care. Actually, what if I did that? That'd be cool too. No, you got to buy stuff from my thing. Never mind. So you're going to get $15 credit. The first 2 different people that come up to the Video Game Dad booth. You heard it here, folks. First. Now, there's another thing coming up too. You guys know about this? There's going to be a small kind of little convention, retro game swap here in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
got to mention it. So the guy that helps to organize a game, part of it. It takes a village to put all these together. But he is starting up a kind of game swap, and it's going to be in a Mason Lodge. It's going to be here the 11th of December, and it's called the KC Retro Game Swap and Collectibles Show. So it's going to be in kind of it's a Mason Lodge, so an Elks Lodge. I don't know what else, kind of like a small YMCA to people who don't know what that is. Where people have wedding venues in the 80s. I don't know how else to describe it. It's going to hold about 200, 250 people. We don't have, as of right now, we've never had a large gaming convention in Kansas City. But this one looks to be a lot of fun. So if you're in the area, even all the way as far away as St. Louis, come out and join us. We're all going to be vendors again. We're all going to have tables. I'm
going to bring some high-ish end stuff to this one too, I think.
Yeah. Me too. I'm going to continue to bring the Dreamcast. Remember, I have a full set, so I'm going to bring all the ones I don't play.
I'm going to bring some interesting Saturn stuff, I think, to this one.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. So we won't tell too much, but come out and check us out. Also, there's going to be some great guests there as well. Adam Krolik is going to be there. He was excited to tell me that. I forgot. I had some good times hanging out with him in St. Louis. It's always nice to kind of pick up some Emos Pizza and shoot the stuff with everybody, but he's going to come out to that, so you can meet Adam Krolik. John Hancock is going to be there of YouTube fame. Another one, 8-Bit Eric. There's going to be more. So there's a few people. So if you watch the YouTube, you can come and check them out if you're fans, just to let you know. Also, the nice thing is there's still some vendor availability as of right now of this recording. So if you want to do it, the tables are very, very reasonably priced. If you want to sell some stuff, maybe buy a table, wet your whistle, dip your toe. There's even a chance, I don't want to say maybe a genre, you'll have to see, but check out the website. But anyway, it would be great for you all to come out and see us again. It's a little Kansas City Game Swap, December 11th. Check it out, KC Retro Game Swap. You can get tickets on brownpapertickets.com. General admission, it's inexpensive, just $5 at the door. You can pre-order. It's like $1.50 extra. It's about a little over $6. You can find it on the Facebook event page. So, yeah, Kansas City Retro Game Swap and Collectibles. Look for it on Facebook. You can find your tickets on the Facebook event page, and there's also VIPs, online presale only, an hour of shopping before the show starts, just $15. So to be a VIP, so check it out. Highly worth it. Probably going to be a lot of fun stuff. I just wanted to throw that out to you as a chance to meet you guys and promote in-town swap, which we don't have many of those. It'd be great not to drive somewhere. So Retropalooza, Mogamecon. Maybe next year E3, maybe other fun things, but as of right now, those are the cons that we get to go to. All right, moving on. Oh my gosh, it's time again for a little segment we call Grayson's Game Shark. Yeah, that's right. Grayson, thanks for joining us in your busy schedule.
Yeah.
Oh, don't be modest. Thank you for honoring us with your presence. So it's been a while, but it's been a while since we've had an episode. You've grown up. You got taller. We had to change the microphone for you.
Yeah.
Your shirt has a Minecraft. What is that called? A creeper?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, look at that. I know Minecraft things. That's about all I know. And there's chickens and there's guys. Yeah, those creepers, right? I know things about the Minecraft, but hey, let's save Minecraft talk. I heard you've been playing some Switch, a new Switch game. Is that right, Grayson?
Well, I haven't really been playing new Switch games.
Oh, okay. Well, new to you, maybe?
Well, not really all new. I've played them before.
Okay.
But
you're very diplomatic
new.
about it.
One is new to me. Flip It side.
Well, that's not on the Switch. That's just a handheld game. That's kind of it's kind of like Simon Says or.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's going on right now?
Well, I mean, I'm playing Super Mario Odyssey again.
Yeah, but hold on. Your flip side. Why did you get that game?
My birthday.
Yeah. Yeah. So what we had, your grandma and grandpa came over, and you got that for kind of a pre-birthday present, didn't you? Yeah. We got Legos. We got, what was it? Iron Man, Thor,
and Miles Morales.
Yeah, Miles Morales and mechs, because apparently
all
that's a thing.
Mechs.
Yep.
Oh.
And so we got those, but you got Flip Slide, which is kind of like a Rubik's Cube sort of, but it's sort of a speed game. Do you really like it?
Yeah, and I got a record of 32 seconds.
Oh yeah, does that mean my record, or am I
Yeah.
still the record holder?
No, you got 40.
No, I got 32 or 3 the other day. Are you now the record holder?
No, yeah, I got 32.
Yeah. So we've been doing this competition in the house with this little.
Is it a Rubik's Cube? Describe it.
It's a square that has different colors on it, and there's 2 sliding pieces on the side where you have to match the colors, and there's like time attacks and that type of thing. So he and I,
Yeah, and
Grayson is scary good at puzzles for an 8.
yeah, I am so good at level mode. My best high score on level mode is 29 moves.
Yeah, so basically he gets a high score and then he gives it back to me and then I try to beat his score.
Oh, that's
and then
fun.
once I beat it, he tries to beat my score. So we've been
And
handing it back and
scary
forth.
bad at level mode.
I'm scary bad at it. No, but the crazy thing is, so Grayson is way into puzzle games. And what's the other puzzle game that you go play every week? You go to camp for it.
Oh yeah, I got a chess camp.
Yeah, so we go to chess camp right now, and he's actually really good at chess.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I beat Dad on my second day of training.
Yeah. Beat Dad. Yeah.
But ever since I learned a trick called the bomb.
Yeah. What? Yeah. You know all about all the different moves, putting people in checkmate. You know how to castle, right?
Yeah, like your king moves up 2 spaces,
Yep.
and your rook moves like behind it.
Do you remember the Sega CD game I just loaded into the Polymega the other day for you to play with me?
Was it Sonic?
No, it's Star Wars Chess.
Oh yeah, Star Wars chess.
Yeah, we haven't played it yet.
yeah.
But that's on the docket.
Yeah, or battle chess. I would never learned how to play chess, to be honest with you. You're way ahead of me. So if we played, I just play it like checkers. I would have no idea what I'm doing. I always appreciated it, and I got to the point where I knew one of those suckers went on a diagonal, and I would move them in the video game when they would let me. And sometimes it would say, you can't do that move, so I would just move until it would let me. But I never learned chess. I never had a chessboard growing up.
If you play me, I'll sort of like teach you how to do
that'd
it.
be awesome. Thank you. Yeah. And I'd let you
wait.
roast me because you would beat me. I don't, but maybe eventually, just like how you beat your dad.
Yeah, and I
maybe
sort of
eventually
have
I'll
a
beat you.
question for you.
Okay, go for it.
Does your son play chess?
He doesn't. So my son's a little younger than yours. He's 4, and so he is into puzzles, but he's into like puzzles, like like wooden puzzles.
Yeah.
But he's actually really he's finally moved on to like, I don't know, like 30, 40 thing puzzles, like piece puzzles. And he loves them. He sits there and focuses on it and gets them done. And I bought him a whole bunch of them. So he loves those kind of puzzles. He's not quite into Lego yet. But I can't wait till he gets into Lego, because I think that all builds. Like, you get good at puzzles,
and if you
then
see
Lego,
my
then
room-
chess. Or earlier, I forget. Jigsaw puzzles are the puzzles. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you said you got a lot of what in your room?
Well, I have a lot of Legos. If you look on the left side,
Yeah.
you can see my bunk bed. Like you turn all the way left.
Oh, that's right. You give me the directions like it's before internet. You told me that about like your grandparents' house. You told me how to like basically break in their house. I mean, stay over and not trip in the dark. That's the better way of putting it. But yeah, you're good at that. I love that. You know, you might be a little if you want to, you be whatever you want to be. But I could see some architecting in the future. I used to love that layout and space and figuring out where things were and like having a mental map of where you're at. You'd probably be good at a dungeon crawler. Has your dad let you play a dungeon crawler yet?
No, but I have played Minecraft Dungeons, and it is kind of similar.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
that
we've
game.
played a
Gauntlet?
little. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, we've played some Gauntlet type games, and there's a dungeon crawler in Minecraft Dungeons that he's a big fan of.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that totally.
And we played another game on the Polymega the other night. You remember it? But
Wait,
maybe
is it
we were
like-
tired.
Was it Resident Evil 2?
No, it was not
Oh,
Resident
that's
Evil
right.
2. No, so I parenting, good parenting moment of the month. We didn't play 2 together. I let him watch me play the first 30 minutes of the first Resident Evil,
The remake or the old one?
the old
Yeah,
one.
and
Oh,
he died a bunch of times on the zombie part.
yeah. Well,
That's what you do in the original Resident Evil.
the tank controls. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
you die a lot in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's did you get to the dog?
Yeah.
Oh, did you jump when the dog jumped out of the window?
No, I haven't seen that part.
Did you not see that part?
Oh.
Yeah, you saw the zombie though, right?
Yeah, and I was scared.
Yeah.
Side note, did you guys see that they're making a movie of that? The new trailer came out.
Is it of the original game?
Yeah.
Really?
And
That
it's-
sounds cool.
they're
I know people have been
remaking it.
talking about it, but I didn't know. I just assumed it was an original
No.
story.
So Shane sent me the trailer because it was like 11. And Shane only messaged me at 11 if probably his house burning down or some random Resident Evil thing came out.
And there is a movie
And it-
kind of similar.
That's no joke. Shane started texting me the other night because he's like, I'm gonna get this, and it was the Friday the 13th box set or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there's like another movie coming out soon, Adam's Family 2.
Oh yeah, the animated one.
Oh yeah.
Right.
You see that? I'm gonna be that guy that says not my Adams Family. If it doesn't have Raul Julia in it,
Yeah.
What did we
It's-
watch? What did we
just
watch
kidding.
just last night?
Adam's Family.
Which one?
The first.
The real one.
oh, the
yeah,
live action.
Yeah, the one with Raul Julia, Angelica
Yeah.
Houston.
And
Did you have a crush on Wednesday? We all
Yeah.
did. Oh, okay.
Not a little one. No,
I love
Okay.
Wednesday. You know what? You will appreciate finding a nice lady like that. But, like,
Fester-
just the fact that like Wednesday would come up and say like a cold blood stare and getting things done. You want a woman like that in your life.
You know, though, I haven't watched the live action Addams Family in a couple of years at least.
Oh, does it not hold up?
No, it's great. It's even better now than it was because it's a movie that I don't think could get made now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's no way it could get made because it has, children with, cleavers and the part where they're doing the play, where they go and do the play and with all the blood spraying all over the audience and stuff.
Oh,
absolutely could not get made now.
And my friend Deacon, Five Nights at Freddy's game.
I think maybe that one's kind of mature. I don't know that game that well.
The kids like the Five Nights at Freddy's, and all I know is it's kind of just a room simulator. It reminds me of what's the game that we played that we got all crazy for Sega CD and
Night Trap.
Night Trap or all those where you're basically like going from camera to camera and waiting to be jump scared or something. And I thought that's what Five Nights at Freddy's is.
Maybe it is.
Every time I watch a gameplay, it's like this bear comes out, right, and scares you.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know what it is because I never really seen it.
All right. Well, maybe we shouldn't talk about it because remember, Grayson's Game Shark is G for a reason. It's G rated. So let's go back and talk a little bit more about this Mario Odyssey. It's a game that you and I talked before the showing when we went over our show notes and you went over your contract obligations. You're getting trickier with these contracts. I can't. You want an Uber Black to bring you here.
Yeah.
I like it. You just told me like straight up you want the Uber Black to bring you here. I know. Last time I showed up with a Toyota Corolla, you got, okay, I'm confusing you. Sorry, Grayson. This is my humor. It's dad humor. It's not very funny. I'm going to cut all this stuff. What was I saying in my long tangent of crazy?
Mario Odyssey.
Mario Odyssey. Yeah, Mario Odyssey. So you beat it, and now you're going through and replaying it.
I sort of had to restart the entire game.
Yeah. You started. So what happened was, Metroid Dread came in, and then I said, "Let's play Metroid Dread together," and you said, "It's too hard."
Oh.
Yeah, and then you went. So you're playing Mario Odyssey while I'm playing Metroid Dread. That's the way things have been.
Yeah, and I saw it. It's really hard.
Metroid Dread is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks really hard.
It is pretty hard.
I don't know. I played some of the old ones, but like, Mario Odyssey, if that's more what you're into, I bet you could play. I bet if your dad started you out on Super Metroid, is that too hard?
Probably a little bit right now. We as far as difficulty goes, sort of 2D Mario games, I think is sort of where we're at right now.
Yeah.
What do you think, Bub? Like Mario World? You like Mario World, right?
Yeah, and there is a game where there's like 3 Mario games in one.
Yeah,
like,
Mario All Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Mario 64.
Oh, you're talking about the new Mario All Stars. Yeah, Mario Galaxy.
Mario Sunshine.
Yeah, you like all those games too, don't you?
Yeah.
Did Mario 64 come out like 15 years before you were born, Grayson? Do I need to feel old?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
96.
96. Yep. Yeah. 10. No, yeah.
It's like 25 years old now.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an old game, but that came out when we were kids, not young kids, but we were younger, I guess.
Yeah, just a little bit older than you.
And it was amazing. That was like Mario Odyssey to us, so that's why we love it so much. I love Odyssey. What's your favorite world? I liked the luncheon one. What's yours?
Well, my favorite is like the Mushroom Kingdom.
Okay.
Yeah, but because like
You're a purist.
when
Yeah, you like the one that has the dinosaur. You like being the dinosaur.
wait, no, that's Cascade Kingdom.
Oh, is
Yeah,
it?
that's the intro level.
Okay, I don't
right?
remember. It's been too long since I played it.
Yeah, so like my favorite.
Cascade's like the demo. Like the
How about
E3
New
demo.
Donk City? Do you like New Donk City?
Oh yeah, that's my first favorite.
Is that your first favorite?
Yeah, and that's like I'm on
I
the
used to say
kingdom
that, so-
after that, I think.
It is. It's a little difficult. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the ice ones are always a little tricky.
Yeah.
Cloud Kingdom's not very big. That's like a short one, right?
Yeah, because you fight Bowser.
What did
that's
you
it.
feel about Moon? Hopefully we're not spoiling anything, but the Moon King, isn't that Moon Kingdom the one where you're up at the end?
Oh yeah.
With the gravity?
With Bowser.
Yeah. See, now that's pretty awesome for someone who's played Mario a lot. Those kind of
and
levels are different.
I've watched on my iPad. I've watched this gamer called Zebra Gamer.
Oh,
and
shout out to Zebra Gamer. Zebra Gamer in the house. Like and subscribe. Hit your bell button.
And he has beat that game.
We got to talk about that. In our contract, we said you can't shill for these guys. Is he giving you an energy drink? Zebra Gamer's sending you some swag?
Well, I mean, I haven't watched him in a long time, so I sort of forgot how. But not really. I mean,
Take that, Zebra Gamer.
He beat that game 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
That's hard to do because there's 1,000 moons in that sucker.
Yeah, I didn't get even close to 100% on it.
Yeah.
The only 3D Mario I think I've fully 100%ed everything on was 64.
You can beat Mario from Super Mario 64.
Yeah, kind of the blocky one.
Yep, you sure
Yeah.
can.
Oh, just firepower?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, there's also one like where you can freeze people. That's my second favorite.
Okay, so it's like freeze firepower.
Yeah, Scorpion
Yeah.
and Sub-Zero. I get
Yeah.
you. Yeah, I was like that too. You know, when I was a kid, before I could light a match legally, which you still can't do till you're about double your age, I was so obsessed with fire, I almost burned down the neighborhood. Don't ever do that. Remember this, kids? Kids, listen to Grayson's Game Shark. Play with fire on video games, not in real life. Right, Grayson? Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, only you can prevent forest fire.
Yeah. Fire's not fun. But when you get old enough, you can light a match or whatever. But you kids probably won't even do that because now you can't even do that in a bar. I remember like learning how to take a book of matches and like snapping my fingers and you could like slide it down the bar. What a lame I was. Don't ever be like me, Grayson. I can't believe I used to think that was cool.
No, I remember going to a friend's house and they had a book of matches in the bathroom.
Oh yeah. No, that's what people did. You're right.
that is. People don't do that anymore.
No,
but yeah,
they used to.
Yeah, they used to. I don't know if that's
Well,
still a thing. Maybe.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
no,
Grayson, no joke. You think I know sometimes we kid a lot, but literally half of the houses I went to as kids, you're right, had a book of matches
Yeah, there's
in
a
the
book
bathroom.
of matches in the. Do you know why you light a match in the bathroom? Don't you?
Oh, this is
No.
true.
Yeah, this is true. When you make a stink.
What?
When you make a stink,
Yeah. Yeah.
you make it not stink by lighting a match. It burns up the stinky.
It does. That's why people did
Then
it.
just throw it in the toilet.
No. Seriously, next time, ask your grandparents nicely. Say, hey, when you were younger, did you used to light a match in the bathroom to take care of your stinky? Now, they're going to have to answer you, and it's a fully appropriate question. But seriously, older people knows about that, but kids don't know about it. And you're smart now. You know all about this. You can tell all your kid friends.
Yeah, that's way back before when they didn't have candles or air fresheners and everybody lived through the depression.
Yeah.
What would you rate? All right, Grayson, before we're done with your segment, I want you to say, what is your favorite part, one part of the new Minecraft mod or expansion? What's your favorite part? What's your pro tip?
Well, I mean, there is
Got to pick one.
updates, and there is copper, and that's one of my favorites.
So copper is okay. So now
Yeah,
that's insider
and-
trading. So if you're saying, if you would recommend to other little boys and girls your age,
Well, I mean,
you
that
want them to
is-
invest in copper. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, that is in the Caves and Cliffs update. If you want to see faraway objects, this can help you in the Caves and Cliffs mod.
Okay.
And I think it's in, like, armor. It's called a telescope.
All right. So you heard it here first. Buy low and sell high with copper and find yourself this newfangled telescope,
In the Caves and Cliffs mod.
specifically in the Caves and Cliffs mod.
All
Telescope,
right.
copper.
I think it's time for you to get to bed, dude.
All right.
Well, I don't really want to go to bed.
Well, you never want to go to bed.
Yeah, you won't
But you
until
have
you're
to.
our age, and then you'll be very happy to do it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So, Grayson, thank you for joining us, and you have fun, on your little vacation coming up, okay?
Okay.
All right.
right.
Thanks for joining us.
All right.
Okay.
See you later.
Love you, little man.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Swim away.
It's me, Mario!
Okay, guys, so a few games came out
Yes.
recently, and there's a couple things. I'm going to move through the ones that we don't have much to talk about, but I think are interesting first. The Grand Theft Auto, the original trilogy, which is Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, are getting a remaster.
Nice.
Yes.
All in one package, all the main systems.
Yes.
Xbox Series X.
Yep.
Or one or whatever. The Xbox family.
Xbox
Yeah.
family, PS5,
PS5, PS4,
and also
Switch.
Switch, really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's going to be a Switch version and a PC version.
So, not a lot of details out there, but the big points are the graphics are going to be improved, everything was overhauled, and a little bit more modern controls. Because the old control scheme for the third person.
I'm excited about
Probably
Vice
just-
City.
Probably
Me
fix the
too.
load
Yeah.
time too. You know,
Sure.
like when you go into different areas,
Yeah.
it would take forever to
Vice City
load
on an
up.
OLED screen. I'm there.
Yeah. And I'll one thing that they have not confirmed or denied. What is one of the most iconic things about Grand Theft Auto? Go, Michael.
Having relationships with the women of the night.
Okay, fair enough. You know what? It's important. It's important to know that VD is a thing. Second,
I'm guessing that's not. Yeah.
Maybe not.
Okay. All right.
Maybe not. But part of it
was unique. I mean,
you're right. It is. Yeah. What is something that stands out with Grand Theft Auto? Would you say?
I mean, it had a really good soundtrack.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
Now, where I'm going with this, Adam knows I'm taking a long way to get around. I'm like a terrible science teacher. My point is, how are they going to license all this awesome music again?
True. That's true.
I don't see how they can do it, which to me is like, I don't want to say it's a deal breaker killer, but like, maybe they'll replace some songs. Maybe they're going to take out 10% of their whatever. But like,
yeah, what I'm hoping is that it's such a big franchise that all of the original licensees are going to want their songs back into it to drive the album themselves.
Please and thank you. That's what I was getting to. Rockstar,
that's
you
what I'm
have
hoping.
enough freaking money. They're going to have to spend a lot to do this, maybe.
I don't know if they're going to have to spend that much
Yeah,
because I mean
they weren't
it's
major
like getting your
songs.
songs on the radio. I mean,
Maybe
if
you're
I
right.
have a song and I want to sell some albums, man, I want that thing in Grand Theft Auto.
Maybe you're
Yeah.
right. Maybe you're
I
right.
don't know.
Whoever owns the song, it's going to come down to who's going to be opportunistic. Because a lot of those 80s, I saw a documentary that actually some of the 80s songs, like Flock of Seagulls and stuff that aren't popular now, they were like so happy that their children or nieces and nephews were like, hey, your song's in my video game. But then there's going to be those other people that are the spouses that got the song in a divorce, and it'd be like, no. We're getting top dollar for this thing. So anyway, Grand Theft Auto. There's not a date on it, I don't think. Good for everybody at Rockstar is really upset. Where's Grand Theft Auto 6? I don't know. I'm getting so old. It doesn't matter to me. I love that they're making this remaster. I can't wait.
They need to stop making stuff for Grand Theft Auto 5 eventually.
Yeah.
Man, they just keep churning out stuff for that.
Cash cow.
I'm telling you. I don't know who's still. I mean, apparently there's a lot of people still playing it, but
I thought I was playing it for a while after like
I thought I played it for
6
I played
years.
it for a long time,
Yeah.
but man, I mean, they're still making stuff for it.
I'm the weirdo that played the single player. I played online a couple times with a friend.
Because I never played the online much.
See, I played for like
yeah.
a year and a half, maybe 2 years
Right.
online, and they're still like coming out with
Oh,
new
yeah, they're
stuff.
still
And that
coming
was
out
like
stuff all the
2 or
time.
3. That was like 3 years ago.
I know.
Yeah, I primarily played the single player on it though.
Okay.
Yeah. And then another game came out. This is another small one, but like, because I know we talked about it before. Far Cry 6 came out.
Yeah.
It's getting very good reviews. I have not played. This is the first Far Cry in a long time I have not played because my video game time is limited to only the Video Game Book Club and some select.
Yeah, if they made a smaller version called Near Cry,
Yeah.
that would be your game.
Yeah, I actually added it because I did a little GameStop trade-in, and that's the game that I picked up.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you played it yet?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not.
You can give your impression. All right. That's
I
awesome.
literally put it in yesterday, and just to do the download. So,
Oh yeah, it's probably a good 20 gigs or something. Yeah,
it was. I actually had to delete something off my system.
Do you guys feel like we just had a grandfather conversation in our young age? Like we were like, "Oh, I got the game. You did you? Yep, didn't play it yet. I just popped it in for the
That's
download."
the thing about modern
Well, it
gaming
takes
though.
a
It's just
solid day.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's
I know.
murder. You
'Cause-
get a game home and you're like, oh, I'm going to play this. And my limited time that I have, it's like, no, you're not because you.
But we're
I have
all
an
in-
you have to
hour
perform
and a half to play it now.
Yeah, you have to perform
and
a
that
system update,
took
and
a long time.
there's a day one patch that's 10 gigs.
But it makes sense. We're all at this age where we're like, "Yep, that's acceptable." You gave it the old college try.
Yeah.
It's just funny. This is where we're at.
I paid-
I'll have my review by
I
next
paid
podcast.
$50
Good.
so I could download some stuff.
Oh man! So real quick, let's say, so another great game I have not played, and I'll talk about just because it needs some screen time. Psychonauts 2 has released and evidently got great reviews. That released like a month and a half ago. If you played it, send us an email. Tell us how you like it. I'm excited to play that whenever I get a chance to play, extra games again. But the first Psychonauts that came out for the original Xbox, I think 2003.
Yeah, thereabouts. Yeah, it's been a while.
2003, 2002 by Tim Schafer. This sequel is getting rave reviews. This will be on Game of the Year lists coming up at the end of the year. You just watch and wait. So that's neat. Also an OLED switch. So this is not a new console. We won't play around, but it's kind of like,
Upgraded.
it's when a new car gets the
It's
LED
a little,
lights.
It's a little shinier.
Yeah. It's the same engine, same performance, but it's got some extra features like adaptive cruise control, that kind of thing. So the OLED Switch, Adam, you've got one on the way?
Allegedly.
Okay. You got one on the way, so you'll have to let us know your impressions. I've seen some reviews. It's kind of one of those, hey, if you don't have a Switch yet, get it. It looks better. Looks better than the previous LCD screen. And what's funny is they're comparing a lot of this to the Vita, which I found funny because the Vita is about almost 10 years old now.
Yeah.
The Vita, the OLED screen on the original Vita, the one over there, it's so pretty.
It's very pretty.
It's still a very pretty screen.
Yeah, so people are saying it's a little bit better than that. So if that's your, your gauge on if you're going to get it or not.
I actually think the mini Switch has a really nice screen on it too.
Yeah, yeah. What is that one called? The Switch
Lite.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I shouldn't have said mini.
No, it works.
Yeah. They knew what you were talking
They
about.
should have called it that anyway. Another game that I think at least Adam would like to talk about for a little bit is I Am the Law. I Am a Woman. You didn't know that till the end. This is weird. You get a Judge Dredd for...
Metroid Dread?
Yes, Metroid Dread. That was a bad segue.
So I
no, hold on a second. I gotta say a PSA.
Just let it be.
No, I can't. I gotta say a PSA. That was a really bad segue, and I'm gonna own it. I tried to make a movie reference.
Spoiler alerts.
I know. I let a spoiler alert of who Samus is, who this young man is. See, I can reverse a spoiler. Go on, Adam.
Okay, so Metroid Dread is the first true Metroid sequel in 17 years.
Jeez.
Which there have been other, Metroids come out. There's like Other M, that are 2D. And
Samus Returns.
Samus Returns. It was redone for 3DS, which is also, a good game. I don't hate Metroid Other M as much as everybody else does either. Although they did make Samus look terrible in that game.
I just didn't play him. I honestly haven't played him since.
But it's really good. I've been playing it pretty solid for like 3 days now.
I heard the control is great. Would you agree?
Yeah, the control's really good. I'm probably about 75% of the way through it, and it's old school tough. I mean, you die, or at least I die, a fair amount in the game. I actually die more playing Metroid Dread than I do playing Super Metroid by a good amount.
Okay.
Because I don't hardly ever die in Super Metroid, but Metroid Dread, no big spoilers or anything, but there's some more chase/sneaky elements in it, not necessarily stealth combat like
people. That's not a big spoiler.
Like
though.
Metal Gear
that kind of It's not like Metal Gear. It's more like frantic, like you've got to hurry because something's going to get you kind of thing. So it's more rushed, but it's fast. Everything moves really fast.
Huh.
The levels are very large. They're much larger than a lot of the other Metroids, but it just moves and flows quick. And man, it looks good, but it plays good. It's really, I've been having a lot of fun playing on it. There's still those times in it, like any of the 2D Metroids where you're like, oh my God, where am I supposed to go next? I think maybe here. So I've been playing it without any walkthroughs or anything like that. The only thing I've been using is I have a list of the next item that I am expected to get and which area it's in.
Okay.
Because I feel like you kind of need that just to keep the frustration level down a little bit. Because when you have this huge world, if you don't know which part of the world the next
order
thing,
you need.
I mean, it doesn't help that much, but it just makes it where you can move through the game and still kind of have some idea what your next objective is.
No apologies here. Listen, I play on easy. Right, and I feel like I'm in a focus group where I can say that out loud. Like, I play on easy. I'll use a cheat code every once in a while. Like, walkthroughs for a game like that, you're also saving time. How many times have
that's what I mean. It's
20 minutes.
Yeah, it's just to save yourself 2 hours of backtracking and looking in areas that where it isn't, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that much to know because there's several main big areas. I'm only looking at the main big area and then where the next item and then what the next item is essentially. So that's all I'm using.
Sure.
But just having that, it plays great. And there of course are the hold your hand, tell you everything to do kind of walkthroughs for it too. But the boss fights are awesome.
Cool.
So I would recommend it if you like Super Metroid and the other 2D Metroid. It's basically the same sort of stuff, just really good. But if you don't like that kind of stuff, then it's not for you.
Yeah. That's great. I really like Metroid Fusion. That's probably my favorite game in the whole series. I haven't played a ton of Metroid, but
mine's probably been Zero Mission, I think, up to this point.
Yeah,
but I may end up liking this more than Zero Mission when it's all said and done. So we'll see.
Yeah. So awesome release. I know a lot of people are playing. Randomly, I could say I played only because it was a couple months ago, and you talking about Dread reminded me of it. The Mummy Demastered.
Oh, yeah. I actually just got that in the mail the other day.
Oh,
finally.
okay.
Yeah.
So I got that on Switch when I was on vacation months ago. It's a limited run game, but it was at Best Buy. And now, of course, unfortunately, like a lot of Best Buy games, it's expensive. I've sold a Switch like Celeste and other things, but I'm keeping that one. I love Celeste, by the way. No knock on that, but it's a game that I like already have digitally, and I loved it. But it's also kind of gets so hard that I kind of I'll have to be a glutton for punishment some other time of my life, and I'd rather just probably download it. But Mummy Demastered has this Metroidvania style to it, and
it's a way forward game, isn't it?
It is a way forward game, and I heard like it's kind of hard and it's kind of samey, but once you get over the first hour, Adam, so the first hour is good, but it's just okay. And it gets a little samey, but all of a sudden you get to about hour two and a half. It gets really good. And it's one of those where it's just kind of, you see an HD or the black bars kind of raised. So, again, I need to finish it and keep playing it, but I'm excited for you to play it because the more and more I played it, I really started getting the atmosphere. I love the level design. It basically a movie tie-in game to that wonderfully terrible movie. So I've heard. I never watched it, or I've watched clips of it with Tom Cruise, The Mummy. Pick that one up if you're into a Metroidvania type of game. Tons of fun, great atmosphere, great music, great gameplay. That one's a lot of fun. So those are a lot of the games that have come out recently. Real quick shout-outs. Don't normally do this, but I found a couple YouTube channels that I thought were really good that hardly have any subs. You're talking like maybe a couple hundred. One of them's called Retro Bird. Anyway, look up Retro Bird, RetroBird. He's got really interesting, thought-provoking videos. It's in the guise of kind of silliness. He brings up really good points, and he's very well spoken on the ups and downs of collecting, and I thought it's very thoughtful, but it's wrapped in kind of like a Step Brothers type of aesthetic where he kind of makes jokes and stuff. But anyway, check that out. So it's a different kind of YouTube channel. All right, and another channel, this guy's only got like 100 subs, and I saw him just make a really cool comment on a YouTube video. And again, I'm not on YouTube very much, maybe a couple hours a week at most, so I'm really kind of behind the time. But his name is Elder Geek Gamer, so ELDER Geek Gamer. This guy is 70 years old. And listeners, I know we've had a couple emails over the years and reviews of some, but I like this guy because talk about video game dads. This guy is cool because he's got this kind of, and again, his name's Elder Geek Gamer. I can say this guy's old because he says it himself, right? He's 70 years old.
You're only as old as you feel.
Yeah, and what I love about this story, and it's better for him to say it than me. It feels a little awkward, but again, something to tie to is he got a diagnosis of Parkinson's, and he plays video games. And when I say he plays video games, he like plays legit. Like he loves Halo. He loves these kind of games that are from a generation that it's not like he just played the games in the 60s and 70s. He kind of got into it later, and he's got a really cool collection. And even his game room kind of has a log cabin feel to it. Again, it's a cool little diamond in the rough. But anyway, maybe give a sub or like, or if you like any of our recommendations on games, don't forget, like, you know, maybe you like what we're watching too, but give a listen and a watch to Elder Geek Gamer and check out his stuff. He's got really interesting takes on things, and it's kind of a refreshing channel to watch. And he just does it for fun, and because he's got a bucket list, he wanted to make a YouTube channel, and he, you know, had some stuff happen in his life. He's like, you know, better time than any to do it. And he kind of talks about aging with gaming and talks about how certain controllers are better for his hands if he's starting to have tremors. So anyway, just a little thing I wanted to shout out, have you guys maybe check out, because I'd like to hope I would be as into gaming and nuanced as this guy talking about games. So it's kind of cool. And his son also plays games and stuff too, has a different channel. So anyway, check it out. He doesn't have a ton of videos up there yet, but he's creating new content, and he makes like a trivia game he thought was fun. Anyway, just kind of like a nice nice warm pair of socks by the fire, this channel. You're not going to get anything that's going to upset you there. So it's kind of different and deserves some love from our fans maybe. All right, guys, our last segment, real quick. You guys ready?
For
the
Handheld
All right, we're going to do this one real quick because it's a really long episode. Our Handheld Holla is where we shout out some games for our give a little love to our handheld other consoles, right? Huh? This could be anything from the Switch, the Game Boy, Game Gear, Game & Watch. Give me another one, guys. TurboGrafx.
Game.com.
The Gamecom.
Tiger Handheld.
The Tiger Handheld.
The Wonder Swan.
All these, yeah. So real quick shout out, and also can be in the top 15% or not, like we've done for all these 60 episodes, 61 now. Handhelds need to be talked about too, right? Handhelds are people too. We're going to go through them right now. Our handheld holo picks from the dads. This episode, who's going to go first? I'm going to go with Adam. Adam, what is your handheld pick? I bet it's a dark horse surprise.
No, this will not be a surprise. It's going to be Metroid Dread.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Hey, you know what? The more love for that game. It's a portable. You love it. It's great. We talked a lot about it. How much is it? It's retail.
It's retail. Full retail.
Yeah. Well, that's good. A lot of people have picked this sucker up. I'll do it too. Metroid Dread, great handheld holla. That's an easy one. That's kind of like when you pick fantasy football and you just like pick the number one running back.
Exactly. I'm picking Tom Brady.
Yeah.
All right, Michael. What's your handheld holla pick for this episode?
Mine is on the Game Boy Color, Capcom game, 1942. Kind of a classic shooter game. Yep, exactly. Yeah. It kind of brings me back to being in the arcades, like when I was a kid, because like all the new games, like Mortal Kombat, were like 50 cents and 75 cents, maybe even $1, and then that game was $0.25.
Yeah.
So I would always go to that.
1942 was the first shooter I ever played.
Was it?
Yeah,
It might have been
I'm pretty much 100% certain that's the first shooter I ever played.
I think it might have been mine too in the arcade.
And it had the original had that woods panel side.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It looked like an
I
old
remember
arcade.
the plane, it did that.
Yep, the
loop
loop.
thing.
Yeah, that was your big move.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the bomb.
Back in my day. Yeah, it used to be even before quarters. You could just put some milk tops.
Yeah, back in
there.
my day, we just shot stuff, and it wasn't bullet hell.
Yeah. Yep.
And it was very simple. It's still a fun game to play too.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah, a friend of mine years ago when we went to back when we had arcade auctions here in Kansas City, he picked up that arcade. He really liked it, and I didn't have much memory for it, and he loved it. And he got it for $120.
Yeah, it wasn't super desirable, but I always liked playing it.
Yeah, it's a great game. All right, my handheld holla pick. Long-time listeners of the show. What is this? A Game Boy Advance game? You are right. Ben chose a Game Boy Advance game, and I have chosen Buffy the Vampire Slayer: Wrath of the Dark-Hole King. So that's a lot of words, but you know what this game is? A lot of fun. The Buffy the Vampire Slayer game for the Xbox kind of people know if you're in a collecting scene and knowing that that's like a great game. When you see a TV series tie-in, normally you'd say, "What is this? It's going to be terrible." The Buffy games, as a whole, not many of them, but they're very good. This one is a 2D side-scroller action game, action kind of platformer, and the controls are great. Do you love vampires? Do you love Sarah Michelle Gellar?
I was about to say that.
What? Oh,
Sarah Michelle Gellar. I wonder what she's doing now.
Oh,
Sorry,
so evidently you do. So look at this, Michael.
She's probably trying to reinvigorate the Buffy franchise.
I would.
Yeah, she might be wondering what you're doing, Michael.
Well, she was huge at the time. I mean,
yeah. Well,
like
she sounds
after
like
that. I mean, yeah.
she sounds like she's still huge in your heart.
She is.
So Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Wrath of the Dark-Hole King. It's a game that complete box and manual. It's like $50, but let me look at the value real quick. Loose. Yeah, it's kind of expensive for a GBA game. It's about $25. You could probably find this at your local game store for maybe cheaper, $10, $15. I'd say it's super worth it. Even though I know handheld games, for whatever reason, the value, if $25 is not expensive for a good game to me. But, you know, if you have other means and ways of playing it, you should definitely check it out. It's a wonderful game. Not many people talk about it. It's like 20 years old now. Scott, Sarah Michelle Gellar, that would put her at like 48 or something. Good grief. We're
Probably
old.
still good looking.
I bet, yeah.
You know, I was
She could
watching,
probably run laps around all of us.
Yeah.
I was watching National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation the other day, and you know the chick in the, I shouldn't say the chick, but you know the lady, the woman in the
store?
in the store, the laundry.
Where she shows her.
Yeah. So my wife leans over to me and she says, "You know, she's 70 years old now."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What?"
Yep.
Anywho, tangent over. You can go back to talking about
No, it's
what-
funny. Yeah, you're right. I saw like some behind the scenes thing or something, and they showed her, and I mean, looks like
Which it makes sense. I mean, she aged just like the rest of us. But.
Yeah, and married to Elder Geek Gamer. I'm just kidding. I don't know that. Probably doesn't. But anyway, it's funny how that works. So anyway, Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the Game Boy Advance, 1941 for the Game Boy Color. And I'm sorry, is it 41 or 42, Michael?
42.
42, excuse me.
I think it was just
40,
40.
41 was on the Atari.
Yeah, I was going to say, did they have a 41?
No,
I was
no,
saying it's 42.
42 is the first one.
It's 42 and 43. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, oh, I gotta get.
And then there's Kai.
Sarah Michelle Gellar
1943.
still hot.
Oh, geez, look at that.
Yeah, so
Good for
just
her.
to let you know, being 50 or
Are
whatever.
you on what is that? The TikTok?
This is Instagram.
Oh, I'm not on. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, see, she's.
Jeez.
I mean, I don't know if it's any plastic on that, but
No, you know what it is?
She
It's
looks
probably
pretty natural. I
It's
mean-
good skin health. You know, now it used to be the makeup was popular. You know what's popular now? Skin health. You know who doesn't wear enough SPF? Men.
yeah,
That's enough of that for now. But just so you know,
Thanks, Dad.
yeah, sorry about that. You obviously tell the things I care about now very different than the things I cared about earlier. Right? It's about making sure I get to bed on time, making sure you have enough fiber, and making sure you're using some SPF every day and you have a good skin regimen.
50
and then
50 and above.
The third handheld holo game is Metroid Dread. You'll never listen to a podcast like this. That doesn't mean it's good, but you'll never listen to another one like the Video Game Dads podcast, that's for sure. So we hope you're doing well. We thank you for listening. We understand if you're a little bitter because we don't put out enough episodes. Another thing, I didn't mention all episode. It's probably worth mentioning because if you noticed our last episode, I mentioned I was going to have a interview with the Intellivision CEO, Tommy Tallarico. The short, very true story about that is we messaged back and forth on Twitter. I've talked to him many a time. I'm excited about the Intellivision Amico. I still am. I have my pre-order. I have kept it as some of the other dads on this podcast. But in the last episode since then, a lot of stuff has kind of gone on. The busyness of life and everything else. I was scheduling a time to meet with him for the interview, and two things happened. First off, there's some things that probably he could do that would be more important for him and his company because some media and news came out about what the Amico is and what it isn't. And frankly, at the time, I just didn't feel like I had much to offer or add to make that a worthwhile interview at this time. I still want this system to succeed. I still put my money behind it. Tommy Tallarico did not cancel the interview or anything like that. That I thought it was better to kind of let this thing come out before we talk about it again because we're still waiting for it to come out. I hope it succeeds. I hope it does well. But both Tommy and I kind of were messaging and about to get it started, and then a lot of things happened in the Amico world. Yeah, that's the reason why we don't have the interview Tommy Tallarico. I am sure if I reached out to him, he'd be happy to have an interview, and that still hopefully will still happen. Just I don't think the time was right. Okay, that's the big nutshell. I don't think the time was right for that. So sorry if you were disappointed in that, but I'm sure you would love to hear our impressions of it because we're putting our money and our pre-orders behind this system, and we'll recommend it if we feel it's good for our audience, which so far from everything I've seen, I could see that being the case. They did release some news that there's going to be some like physical editions of some NSV cards or something like that. I think that was expected. That it was going to be kind of a tap and play type system, but again, we don't have the thing, can't talk about it yet.
Yeah, we'll talk to Tommy when the time is right, and there are systems that have been delayed and so forth because of all the COVID stuff and travel stuff and shipping stuff and getting processor stuff. And, they can't, there's all kinds of things that are messed up right now, building cars and building everything, anything with a microprocessor seems to have some issues. But in some ways, things are slowly working out. For instance, we'll talk about it probably more in the next episode, but I do have a Polymega, for instance. There's supposed to be vaporware forever, and I actually really like it. I'm impressed with it. I've been having a ton of fun with it. Shane and I both ordered it. Shane should be here within the next week or two. Great. With all the remainder of the modules that we need. And but I've been playing CD-based games on it, for the last 2 weeks, and I've been very, very happy with it. So it took me 3 years to get it, but I'm glad I didn't cancel the pre-order at this point. So
yeah, I know. I'm happy for you that finally came. I know you were excited when that came out. It was cool to see it when you brought it at the con. We should talk about it more on the next episode for sure, just because this one's going a bit long. But I will say I think this thing is going to come out. I think the Intellivision Amico will come out, and if it makes people happy, great. Some people it might not make too happy because it's not going to blow your socks off with processing. It's looking to just try to be a fun system, so we'll be honest and see if that's the case. But yes, these are real things that happen. Sony seems to be having trouble. We're over a year out with new consoles, and it is a struggle for people to get that system. So why wouldn't a small, tiny company have trouble? It all makes sense to me. But anyway, I think the interview would be done much better once this thing comes out, because I think it would be easier to talk about it then. So that was just kind of my choice on the matter. Hopefully that's okay with you all too. All right. Well, thanks so much for listening. If you like this, give us a rating on the old iTunes. We'd appreciate it. That helps us get seen on the algorithms. You're getting your money's worth with our Patreon. For tier 1, it's $0, and you will get absolutely nothing, but hopefully some smiles and smirks. When you get all the way up to tier 3,
still nothing.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot of...
Still costs nothing.
Yep, still costs nothing.
Still get nothing.
And you're not going to get anything, no guarantees. There'll be times we don't create an episode for 4 months. We hope not to do that very often. You'll get a lot of virtual autographs. A shout out to you right now. You paid for it. Here it is. Thanks for listening, you.
And you just keep being you.
You keep being you. And that thing you forgot to do, it's okay. The world will keep on going, but maybe get on it for tomorrow. Okay? All right. Thanks so much for listening. Episode 61. Yeah, finish it out there, Michael.
Yeah. Have a good night, guys.
Wake up, kid. It's time for cereal.
How did you get in my house, mister?
You need to start your morning off with a big bowl of Nintendos.
Nintendos?
That's right, Nintendos.
Nintendo?
Hey, boy, I already said it twice.
Whoa, it's got Marshmallow, Mario, and Luigi's.
Yeah, and every box comes with a picture of Michael, Anna, Shane, and Ben.
Who are those guys?
The gang from the Video Game Dance Podcast, man.
Cool.
Nintendo does not condone an adult breaking into any residence to offer cereal to a child.